on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The
Mike's hot. It's Wednesday, Albuquerque. You know what that means? That means the boys are at Duke City Cages. We're hanging out till
baby.
This is a real number. I'm about to say 7 o'clock tonight. We're gonna be here till 7 o'clock tonight, and I'm real excited about that.
Which time zone?
The this one.
Ooh, full show.
Yeah, 7 this time zone.
Let's go, baby.
Isaiah Johnson back at the studio. Isaiah, how are you?
I'm doing awesome.
Hey,
Missed you yesterday.
Okay, well, I mean, it's life came up yesterday. But I heard it was in good hands with Jake Cassio and the Gay Boys. Thank you for they to join us. Talking the world of fantasy football. I am still undefeated in the world of fantasy football. Not a conversation for right now, but I need the world to know that. I need them to know where I stand on the pecking order, and I am the one to be pecked. You peck me.
Well, I'm undefeated in 2 leagues.
Not against me.
And you gave me an L. You hung a big old L on me.
Put it on you.
Last week. I was projected to beat you by 30 points, and you went off.
Yeah, I'm that guy.
You've owned me.
In fantasy.
In my fantasy league that I am in commissioner of.
I am
with a bunch of lifelong friends and you.
Yeah. The way it should be. So fantasy's going well for me. The NFL season is going well. The best teams are not the best teams. The worst teams are not the worst teams. And there's a whole lot of life going on. A lot of fun in town as well. Tomorrow night, Van Nunley and Ned James over at Sadie's.
Yeah.
Meet they for
That's
the
my
show.
Quarterback.
And then Van is going to rush off after as Duke City Championship Wrestling takes over the historic El Rey Theater tomorrow night. It's September Rain, going to be a banger of one out there at the El Rey as pro wrestling returns after a hiatus to Rio Rancho, after a hiatus to the State Fair, after a hiatus to the International Museum of Folk Art in Santa Fe. There's been something like, 20 days of wrestling in September. So it's a saturated market, Isaiah. That's what I'm saying. It's a Sachi boy.
Oh, that's why you called it September Rain.
September Rain.
The rain saturated the market.
It's REIGN.
You made it rain. Duke City Championship Wrestling all month.
The start of Hobo Hank's reign. REIGN. He's the champion.
God, it feels so good.
It's weird
having him be the champ as he deserved.
It's better. Life is better this way. Isaiah Johnson back at the studio. Isaiah, I know we talked about it over the weekend with your Dallas Cowboys, and today I was like, well, you know what? We need to ease up. I was like, we've gone relatively hard on the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no. Don't ease up. Don't ease up. It's a new movement. It's a new movement for Cowboy Nation. So don't ease up.
Well, I'm glad you're saying this because I couldn't find a single positive article about him the last 2 days. I have looked. I've gone through the internet. No one in the world thinks that they are the real deal. They are the bottom deal. They are the last deal. And weird stuff like CD Lamb, like publicly apologizing, like weird stuff going on that you don't do if you're a winner. This is crazy to me.
I think CD was just apologizing for throwing a hissy fit, not really his play on the field.
Be a leader.
He kind of did both, right? He apologized for throwing the hissy fit. And then the same things I was saying, he admitted that he let that focus, he let his focus be altered because he got upset. And then he started off by saying that he was a big part in that loss because he was. And if you think about it,
it was his fault.
Yeah, well, he had a big part in it, and unless he played DB, which at this point anybody could for us. But I mean, he had some big drops, and even with a CD Lamb playing at his best ability, we might have still pulled out the victory.
I think I really want to attack this us and we stuff that you're doing right now.
It's difficult.
It's hard.
It's difficult. I've tried so hard.
I think Isaiah also uses us and we when he talks about this show. And we're not losers like the Cowboys.
And the culture.
Also
big winners.
So it's either Isaiah is choosing to claim to be part of a bunch of losers, or he is such a victim of the indoctrination and abuse that this team has for years put on its fan base that he can't escape this verbiage. I am upset. I am embarrassed. I want Isaiah to be a better person. And he, like so many of the zealots out there, can't seem to shake this. So Isaiah, you have to choose right now. You're either we, part of this show, or you're we Dallas Cowboys Nation, because one of those things is disgusting and gross.
Are
I'd
you
say-
a wee because you are
Here's-
French?
Here's why I am we both.
Nope.
It's why, here's why both counts, because in both situations, if somebody's coming at the show or someone was coming at the football team, in both instances, I'm going to stand front line and take on whatever's being
No, we don't
said.
want any losers on our front line.
Well, the Cowboys in this situation, I handle a lot of heat because of them. I handle a whole bunch on my social media. My phone blows up when they lose. I have the right to claim we as in Cowboy Nation, because if it wasn't for Cowboy Nation, I mean, what would we have at this point? You pointed out we haven't won a Super Bowl in 30 years.
Well, I don't
So,
point that out. It's
well,
fact.
well,
It's a fact.
well, without the Cowboy Nation, they would really be crumbling down.
Here's what I
So-
know about the Cowboy Nation. As I look at social media right now, I'm literally looking at the Cowboy fandom, and they're talking about the game tomorrow night. They're playing the Giants. Big game tomorrow night against the Giants. And Cowboy fan is saying, there's no way that we're going to lose.
False. The
Two O's.
real
2 O's.
2 O's.
There's no way we're going to lose.
Okay.
That is
False.
Cowboys Nation. The fan
False.
base that Isaiah is claiming is the fan base that can't spell the word lose.
This is a
You
false
think
statement.
that's bad? Let me introduce you to some Raiders.
Ugh.
Look,
The Cowboy fans are. Yeah, what were you gonna say, man?
I'll give Isaiah his flowers right now, because yesterday on the program on Isaiah's Cowboy Corner,
Yes.
he was like very critical of the Cowboys, and he was
We
taking
all
like
are.
adult stances, and he wants to hold the Cowboys and Jerry Jones accountable. I'm gonna be brutally honest. I'm proud of my boy.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. Jerry Jones is holding a seat on his plane flying back from New Jersey for Bill Belichick. That's what's happening after a loss tomorrow. Also, I don't know if the game's in Dallas or New York, but you get the point.
I think it's in New York. But
New
Cowboy
Jersey.
Nation right now has made the news in Dallas because fans have now gone to the stadium and held up big signs
Losers.
saying, fire the GM. So what we're doing here
Nice.
is we're saying, okay, here, we'll go half
Again,
and half.
we.
with
You went
Jerry.
we.
Yeah, we Cowboy Nation, because we made the news. So us as a nation made the news, and what we're doing is, Jerry, you want to be the owner? Fine, but no more GM stuff. No more making decisions with the roster. So we're saying fire the GM, and then and also another trend that's going is Jerry, the owner, has let Jerry, the GM, down.
All right, doing this here. I'm
Jerry, the owner, is fantastic.
Dallas Cowboys
Yes, but
fans.
he's let Jerry, the G. Oh yeah, so
The
Jerry-
brand, the revenue he generates, the budget that a good GM could work with right now, amazing. Jerry, the owner, legend. Jerry,
His
the
roster?
GM, should have
Oh,
been
God.
fired years ago.
Oh god.
Look, you're talking about McCarthy being on the hot seat. If he loses to the Giants, which is a very real
When?
possibility, he has the Steelers next, the best defense in all of football. And then how about this gauntlet? Lions, Niners, Falcons,
It's bad.
Eagles,
It's bad.
Texans. They have to beat the Giants
Will
and
not.
Steelers, because they're going to lose 5 games in a row after that.
Interesting point, though. You're talking about Jerry Jones. He doesn't actually have to win because no matter what, he has the fan base.
No,
They'll
he's
never,
losing us. He's
ever
losing us.
go away.
People are returning their season's passes.
No,
Like it's getting bad.
They-
I'm telling you, it's worse now than it ever has been.
first of all, you can't return those. You buy them, you got them. But secondly,
No,
this
You can.
you can't sell them anymore. They don't make you money
You're going to take
anymore.
an L.
Like you're gonna, it's in the clearest way I can say this possible. They've done nothing different for the last 30 years, and they're the most successful financial thing ever. They've had zero failures as a business ever. That's it.
And here's what you okay. There's a fine line here though. They haven't won Super Bowls, no, but how often has Dallas just gone into a season being expected to be a bad team? Like there's usually some person, even if it's one player, there's usually some type of scenario where you can try to make a case for them to be a valid team. Like they haven't turned into, let's say in baseball, the White Sox, where it's a complete trash fire. Like they've always had some spotlight. And even just the game last weekend, as much as it sucks, we were losing, getting blown out, but they come back and lose by 3. Dallas has been doing things like that since I've ever watched, since I started watching them.
Then you didn't start watching at the right time.
Yeah.
Because
Uh-huh.
and
When's been the right time? I'm 27.
I got you. In 2000, 5 and
The
11.
70s and 90s, and
We're
that's it.
we're just gonna do the last 20 years. I think that's fair. That's fair, right? 5 and 11, 5 and 11, 5 and 11, 10 and 6, 6 and 10, 9 and 7, 9 and 7. Oh, here we go. 2007, we had a spike. 13 and 3. That's good.
That's when I started watching.
Oh, right then after
2006.
those 1, 2, 3,
2006.
4, 5, 6. There's 8 losing seasons in a row.
Before I started watching.
2010, 6 and 10, 8 and 8, 8 and 8,
Roma
8
was
and
hurt.
8.
Roma was out the 6 and 10
Hey,
season.
you remember? I just thought about that 2015 4 and 12 banger.
Mm.
That team was the team.
That was forgettable.
Tony also was injured.
9 and 7 in 2017, 8 and 8 in 2019, 6 and 10 in 2020. Oh,
Okay. Now I got a good question for you.
Yeah,
we're
ask away.
talking about fan base, right?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Was this sort of or product that they're putting out in the field?
yeah.
Since you got your stats up, look at what team has the most Pro Bowlers since 2000.
No,
Cool.
Oh, it's Dallas. It's the Dallas Cowboys.
Cool.
They're the most Pro Bowlers since 2000.
What,
cool.
Now,
what does that matter?
I said no Super Bowls, but I said as far as keeping people engaged, they have always put out a decent product on TV. Those two, 6 and 10 and 4 and 12, we lost our quarterback, and everybody knew if Tony got hurt, it was lights out. Which is why Dak Prescott seemed like a gift from God himself.
That stat you just asked about doesn't exist on the internet. Most Pro Bowlers by team.
It's a fact. It's a fact. Trust me. And most Pro Bowlers drafted as
But
well.
it's not that impressive that the Cowboys have 12 regular season wins 3 years in a row because it gets to beat up on everyone in the NFC East. The Giants have been garbage. The Commanders have been garbage. There's 4 easy wins. Okay. What did they do with the rest of the 8?
Hey, also
They split it with the Eagles. Okay, there's 5 wins.
Here's why
what did
there's
they do?
Van. They have so many Pro Bowlers because the NFL knows they won't be in the Super Bowl, so
Yeah.
their guys will be available.
Oh, show it. Yeah.
He found the stat. Fred found the stat. Disclaimer.
What is
Yeah.
it?
No, you found it. I could tell you just found it.
What stat?
No,
I don't understand what you're
it's
saying.
The most Pro Bowlers, because you said, okay, well, the reason they're the most Pro Bowlers is
They,
Yeah, 'cause they
go
know
to the Super Bowl.
they
They're
won't be
always
in the Super Bowl.
available.
You know that Cowboys fan will show up to the Pro Bowl, whether it's in Hawaii or Vegas or the
Mhm.
Super Bowl city. Like, let's put a bunch of Cowboys in the Pro Bowl so people actually show up to this because we know no one's watching
And
it
they-
on
They can
television.
book the trip way ahead of time because the Cowboys are not going to the
They
Super Bowl.
100% know. They
Yeah.
got to wait to the last minute.
I get an
Yeah.
agent, book it.
so Van, to use your argument against what Fred was saying, though. So, like, you make a great point, right? So the NFC East has been pretty bad. And I use this argument because, again, I'm a Romo homer. I don't think he should have been replaced. But think about the NFC East back in those days, the 9 and 7 days. You had Donovan McNabb on one team with Deshaun Jackson, LaShawn McCoy. Then you go to the Giants, you had Eli Manning, Michael Strahan. They had stars. And then even the Redskins at one point,
cool.
yeah, RG3 came through there. Ryan Kerrigan came through there. Santana Moss. All 3 of those teams were very solid.
Those
So the
last 3 guys
Cowboys-
were not good.
Yeah, let's talk about
Yes,
now.
they were.
We're talking about now, not the history of the Cowboys.
No, we're not
'Cause
talking about a.
if you're going to talk about like, you're going to
that's
talk
new.
you're going to talk about the other mediocre runs that the Dallas Cowboys had and didn't win
Yeah.
Super Bowls.
This is
cool.
classic cowboy whataboutisms.
Yeah.
Did you know the Redskins had the second best wide receiver from the 2005 Miami Hurricanes, Santana Moss, because Reggie
Yeah.
Wayne was catching passes from Peyton Manning? No, that does not
So-
matter.
So maybe I heard earlier in the segment wrong. If we're not talking about the past of the Cowboys, so therefore none
Also
of
their
the
present.
stats from 2000, which you just mentioned, 2000 other records, none of that matters. If we're not talking about the
I would
past.
say nothing about them matters. That is correct.
Okay, well, America disagrees. The ratings disagree strongly.
They're the
I could
only thing on TV.
And
But-
New Mexico, maybe.
No, it's the hey. I can't believe when they're the standalone game they get all the audience. That's incredible.
That would be out of all the angles you've taken, saying the Cowboys only get watched because they're the only game.
Keep going.
The hardest angle you probably ever could try to defend.
No,
the hardest
not
angle.
not at all.
So so
The Cowboys
they're
aren't-
the only team. So they have like a Wednesday deal where they know what nobody else plays when they play. Is that what you're saying?
On Thursday, no one else plays while they're playing. That is correct. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I didn't know. How do we have the ratings for Thursday's game if they haven't played yet?
No, it will be the highest one.
Yeah, it'll probably be the
Of course.
best one of the year, unless
And
there's like
every-
a playoff game at the end of the year, like with
You-
playoff implications. This will be the highest one.
the highest watched
Yes.
game of the
Yeah, on Thursday.
You
'Cause
understand that
Cowboy
it's not
fans
been the
are
case?
masochists. They have to watch. They have to watch their world crumble. They love pain. They love
Okay.
feeling it. They can't wait. They can't just build up their hopes. Like, oh my God, Daniel Jones is playing lights out in the NFC East. He's the best quarterback in the NFC East right now. The Giants have turned the corner, and so has Daniel Jones. They're legit again. This is a real game for the Dallas Cowboys. No, this is a bye week. If you don't beat Daniel Jones and the Giants, oh God, it's going to be pathetic.
I all the way agree with you, but maybe it gets Bill Belichick in quicker. I'm all for it. But I also would strongly disagree because if you go look at the Cowboys' most watched games in the past, they're not Thursday games. If anything, Thursday games are usually not interesting. There's actually terrible ratings for Thursday night.
Well,
football.
it won't be the highest watched Cowboys game. It'll be the highest watched Thursday night
Correct.
football game.
Everyone wants to watch Dallas lose
will watch,
to
yeah.
this, who they claim is a terrible quarterback, Daniel Jones,
Sure.
who's about to light them on fire.
You either love NASCAR or you love seeing car wrecks. That's why people watch the Cowboys.
We're in a trap. The Cowboys are in a trap here because if you win, it's like you're supposed to, but if you lose, the whole building crashes down. So,
My dude, you are in a trap season. The Giants aren't as bad as they have been the last few years. And then you got a gauntlet. Then Commanders, Jaden Daniels might be the truth. Jaden Daniels might be the best quarterback in NFC East for a decade.
hey,
And you
I'm
are in big trouble.
I'm all for the good draft pick plus Bill Belichick. Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
well, hold
I'm
on.
here for it.
You're telling me there's always next year? Is that what you're saying? Oh,
No, I'm telling
gosh.
you, the Cowboy fans have given us, unless there's some crazy trade, unless we get Belichick and Amari Cooper in this year, there's no hope.
Of
for-
all the names you could have named, you went with Amari Cooper. Like you were
Well, yeah,
talking
he's a-
fantasy trades. You're going with Amari Cooper.
yeah, he's a trade piece. They're looking to trade him. He's already has chemistry with Prescott.
He's already
We
got
need another
jerseys.
receiver.
Oh, it's got some.
You don't got to replace his jersey. Just go get
He-
some more from the basement.
Did he keep the same number? I think he did in Cleveland.
You switch back. Who
Don't
cares?
matter.
You know, the real problem.
He could be hanging with Mr. Cooper for all I care.
Oh, that's
Just
a good one.
Give him a new jersey.
I'm a big Tia and Tamara.
Mm.
Big Tia.
Uh,
Who isn't?
The problem with the Cowboys is, and they're doing it right now with CeeDee Lamb. This happened with what's the cat, number 11, Parsons. They for a second have a chance to have a guy who should be the signature guy at a position, and then it just dissolves away. Like CeeDee Lamb should be the second best wide receiver in the NFL, behind the best wide receiver in the NFL who plays in Minnesota with the best quarterback in the NFL.
Oof. Strong.
It's factual. I'm looking at it.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah.
But that's like Micah Parsons has fallen behind all the defensive ends right now.
Yeah, he's sucking right now.
He sucks.
Yeah, what happened to that guy?
Sucking.
He's supposed to
not
quit. He's supposed to quit after he gets paid, like Dak did.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Micah was all super high on Mike Zimmer.
Don't say
saying-
drugs.
Yeah, he was super. He was pumping up Mike Zimmer, saying that he was going to be a lot better and he had control of the defense. But I just think I don't know if Zimmer's defense is not built on getting sacks like the way Dan Quinn was. So, in Micah, his effort's low.
He's bad.
They're all in their
He's
heads
bad.
too much. Their coaching's bad.
He's
Their
not
coach
a
is
he's not a
terrible.
top 10 guy.
They look like a team that
Their fan base deserves. Finish that sentence.
our
that-
fan base deserves way better than what we're getting.
Let's play a little game of Would You Rather. Would you rather have another 12-win season and
Great.
lose the first round in the playoffs,
Okay, great.
or have a 4-win season, which it looks like they're going after?
That seems high, but keep going.
They beat the Browns. They'll probably beat the Giants twice, and they get a bye week with the Panthers. So there's four wins. They might
getting
lose
about
every
Washington.
other game. No, Jaden Daniels is the truth. He's going to smash the Cowboys.
They got good
Uh,
running backs.
Would you rather be 12-5, lose the first round of the playoffs, have another year of mediocrity the year after that, be way above the salary cap, or would you rather be 4-13 or 5-12 and blow this whole thing up and start over?
I want give me 6 wins. Okay, give me 6. Just let me enjoy
Okay.
it. Let us beat Philly once.
Who's us?
Us Cowboy Nation.
Okay.
Let us beat Philly once. Beat the Philly fans. Get the bragging rights over the. Just let us get the Eagles one time, and then I'm cool with the high draft pick. I tell you what, this last offseason was terrible. If we were to go win 12 games, it'd be another terrible offseason. The best offseason I can remember is when Romo was out, like you said earlier, 5-12, and I was praying for Ezekiel Elliott, and we got rookie Zeke.
No one
Awesome.
across the world of sports fandom cares if the Dallas Cowboys beat the Philadelphia Eagles if the Dallas Cowboys have 4 wins on the year.
The Cowboys fans and the Eagles
There's
fans will care.
Zero conversation about it.
Hard disagree.
Hard.
Now,
hard
the
disagree.
conversation is
Have you ever heard of Lobo football?
oh, that's a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. If you beat the Aggies, you had a successful season. Same thing with the Cowboys.
The Lobo football team is about to go winless on the year, and
Dude.
this is crazy. I've never been in a market where the D1 football team doesn't win a game. That's insanity.
I'll win 2 or 3. But anyways, you get the point.
I don't know.
Like you could have a garbage season if you're the Cowboys and you still beat the Eagles at home
Yeah.
one time.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna leave a pretty good taste in your mouth.
Washington
The
State
Eagles are
is
the
going
only
to
team.
score 100 on them.
Dude,
100 points.
Jaden Daniels is gonna light up that defense.
Yeah, if the Lobos beat Washington State, Brett's gonna
That'll be
call in
wild.
sick.
That'd be wild.
We're gonna call in sick.
It's a Saturday. I'm not calling in sick. I don't even work on
Sick
Saturdays.
Monday.
What? No, I'll be at Howie's. Like what?
Come on, man.
You know what? Because here's the thing. Unlike weirdos, my happiness doesn't have an authority of a team over it.
Oh, you mean like 53 millionaires? Like
Yeah.
don't
No,
get to
they don't get to
change,
decide if I'm happy in life.
change your baseline mental
God.
health.
Also, Devin Dampier is about to be a millionaire. Like it's going to come his way.
Start cashing checks right now, Lobos.
When we get back from the break, we continue from Duke City Cages. You can kind of hear the bats lighting up here. Kind of fun. When we come back with our Blue Plate special moment of the day, big thank you to 669 for being a part of that. It's 2 Men On 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
This report.
It's our Blue Plate special moment of the day presented by 66 Diner. Retro Eats on Route 66, 66diner.com. But you don't have to do it digitally. You can just go down there, 1405 Central Avenue, Northeast. Sit down at the counter, sit down at a table, sit down at a booth, take a friend, have a milkshake. Sunday through Thursday, 11 to 9, Friday, 11 to 10. Also, join that Cruiser Club. You know what that means, Van. You get a free shake. That's really what it means.
What?
That's
You
the
get a
whole
free
thing.
shake?
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Look, I prefer people. I prefer
Same.
taking family and friends to 66 Diner because the atmosphere is so fantastic. But let me tell you, a milkshake sitting right there at the bar
Mhm.
hits
So
different.
sweet, dude.
When you see them make that milkshake right in
Mhm.
front of you and they just turn around and smack one,
Well, and they
the best milkshake in town,
and you
they
just
set it right in front of you, hits
Na-
different.
like name 2 flavors. Cool. It's in a milkshake.
Yeah, You can do
Cool.
it. You can do it.
Oh, you want peanut butter and jelly? Deal. But you want butterscotch
Oh.
and jelly? Deal.
Okay, now you're getting weird.
You want peppermint and jelly? Bet.
Get
Like
out of here.
that.
Get out of my store. Peppermint jelly. I'm calling the cops on you if you order a peppermint jelly milkshake immediately. The guy who orders the peppermint jelly milkshake is the same guy who used to stuff his homework into his backpack without putting it in the folder. Those guys are in prison.
He was the kid that took the meat off the hamburger and just ate bread and ketchup.
Yes.
Did you ever have those weirdos?
Yeah, he's in prison now.
It's our Blue Plate special moment
Okay.
of the day.
Lineup card, and he's going to call out Alex Bregman. Bregman didn't know what was happening, but he's going to leave the field here. Dan's reacting.
That, my friend, was Alex Bregman being pulled from the game today against the Seattle Mariners in the 4th inning, allowing the home fan base of the Houston Astros to give him a standing ovation. His contract is up, and it seems as if his days are up in Houston.
That seems like a top-down organizational decision. Alex Bregman's a gamer. He doesn't want to leave. He doesn't want to miss a single at bat. He doesn't want to miss a single grounder. He wants to be on the field all the time. So having him walk off the field in their last home game, that's a statement by the front office. Like, hey, enjoy this guy, enjoy the time because he's going to be a Dodger or a Yankee next year.
Graduated LSU in 2013, question mark. Is that right? 2013?
Sounds good.
Joins the Astros rookie years 2017? No, 16 was the debut year.
Mhm.
17, big contributor. That was a World Series year.
Mhm.
2022 was a World Series year.
Correct.
Okay. Where does he fall? He's the best baseball player to ever come out of New Mexico. He's the best baseball player to ever come out of Albuquerque. Unfortunately, he wasn't a UNM Lobo, played at LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Where does he fall in the history of Houston Astros?
I mean, top 10 without a doubt. Top 10 without even thinking about it. But really, you're talking about him right after Biggio, Bagwell, Altuve,
It's not right
and
after,
Nolan Ryan. I think he's
Oh,
right,
okay. I see what you're saying.
I think he's right after those, like the big ones. He's like right after Rushmore. If he ends up like doing a team friendly deal with Houston,
yeah.
which Houston only does team friendly deals. They don't give top of the market contracts. They don't lock people in and blow up the luxury tax. That's not what Houston does. It's not what Houston's ever done. But if he's able to stay there and play 5 more years, we'll be talking about Alex Bregman
Okay.
like Biggio
Yeah.
and Bagwell and Altuve.
If he leaves, it's over for him. He becomes Carlos Beltran.
Yeah.
If he leaves,
Hey, where's Beltran and Springer right now?
they ain't on the list.
They're planning a vacation.
Yeah.
They're not going to the playoffs with the Astros.
You know who he is? He's a Luis Gonzalez. Like if he leaves, and especially if he leaves and goes and is successful somewhere, which is what I wish for him and his family.
Right.
But the thing you said about Jeff Bagwell is, did he 14 years all with Houston?
Mhm.
Close, if not correct. Moving down the list, Craig Biggio.
18?
Was it that long?
Yeah,
He
almost
started
20.
in the 80s.
Yeah, almost 20.
Jose Cruz.
He's up there.
I mean, his whole career.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking Nolan Ryan,
Cesar Cedeno.
Cesar Cedeno,
Yeah.
JR Richard. Like,
Altuve.
Altuve is like right after Biggio and Bagwell. And by the time his career ends, Altuve might be number 1.
Is he Lance Berkman then? Because Lance Berkman should have stayed. And I get that he went to my St. Louis Cardinals and won a World Series and twice was, able to
Chase won with the Yankees too.
Yep.
Yeah.
He stood on second 2 times in 2006. He stood on second 2 times when David Freese hit him into gaps, and he scored every time.
Mm-hmm.
He is the reason. That's the category that.
So me growing up in Houston, during that era, Berkman's my favorite. He's my all-time favorite.
Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah. He's just a great personality, fun to watch, cool dude in real life.
Had that running backwards up the hill, diving catch.
He's an absolute legend. But the organization and Lance Berkman saw the writing on the wall. It's hey, we're gonna have to blow this thing up, and we don't want you hanging on here while we're doing what we're about to do.
Yeah, so we're gonna sell you real cheap to the Cardinals.
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna give you away to the Cardinals. Yeah.
We always do.
Yeah, you can go on a world tour and do some ring chasing. You already had your career. You're fine.
Better than Roy Oswalt on your list.
Yes. Tie. How about that? Let's.
Oh, that's how you feel.
Yeah. Let's have a little cop out there. Yeah.
Carlos Correa.
Ahead of Carlos Correa. Wasn't there long enough.
Okay.
Bregman's just right at the top of the second tier of all-time Astros. If he stays there, he's going to be in the first tier.
Joe Morgan.
Yeah, because he had most of his success with the Reds.
I'll buy that. There are names too on this as we're George Springer. How long was he there? 6 years, 7 years?
Yeah, not long enough.
Not long enough.
Not long enough to be an Astros legend.
That's where you fall off.
Astros fan during that era knows that George Springer's an Astro. But he left at the right time. He got his bag. That's fine. But George Springer and Carlos Correa could have been lifelong Astros if they would have took a team-friendly deal.
Well, Verlander too. Do you want to have that conversation? No, I guess because his career started elsewhere.
Nah, he wasn't there long enough. But still, that's where he got his rings. That's where he got his ships. That's where he got his Cy Young.
Yeah.
So he's in the conversation, but not all-time conversation.
He get lost in the lore of it?
But he has some big hits. He's gonna be attached to Houston Astros playoffs highlights for the history of the franchise. He's a dude. Top 5 in MVP voting multiple times. He's a dude.
He was drafted in 15. What was he, number 2?
Yeah.
Is that why he wears number 2, or is that just a weird thing?
Yeah, it's a motivator for him.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Who was wearing 1? Carlos Correa.
Correa was 1.
And he was drafted real high too.
He was number 1.
Oh, I love that.
He was actually 1. Yeah.
They do it. Their blow up was the best one. I think of all of the professional teams to ever say we are tanking for success.
Yeah.
And, there's a couple of them where you want to argue it. Let's do that when we get back. When we get back from the break, and by the way, we get news of the day. We know what's going on in UNLV. We know what's going on with the Pac-12 and the Mountain West. We'll talk about all that stuff too. Don't act like. But there's a fun conversation here about teams who have blown it up and weren't successful. It's 2 Men On, live from the Duke City Cages. It's 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This
Hot damn. You can see me flex, but now I'm no stranger. I make it hot.
Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to 2 Men On, right here on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. You know, we were talking about the Houston Astros and how they tanked for success, right? Because we were talking about Alex Bregman, more likely has played his last regular season game for the Astros. And it's not called Minute Maid anymore, is it?
Still Minute Maid.
Still Minute Maid, yeah. So they, you know, as I've gotten older, because they all change names now, when they don't change names, I'm more confused.
Yeah. It'll always be the Astrodome to me, even though it's a different building and there's no dome.
It's pretty good, actually.
Before we move on to this, like, Bregman is a legend to Astros fan. It takes it to like another level for me, because obviously the Albuquerque connection, but like, he's been so clutch in the most important times. And also he's like a Houston staple, like has a soft salsa company, has a production company, hangs out with Paul Wall and Mexican OT. Like, he is like a staple in Houston. So it's going to be weird seeing him somewhere else, because he's really built in roots there.
Yeah. It's a kind of a shame when a person with those kind of optics leaves a wherever, you know, and I went through it as a fan primarily with Albert Pujols.
Right.
When Albert Pujols left St. Louis, and it's hard to explain how one dude is the team. It's hard to explain. By the way, like multiple world championships, like involvement in the community. And I think in my fandom years, which I sadly feel like I'm past, I think in my fandom years, seeing Albert Pujols with the Cardinals, Kurt Warner with the St. Louis Rams, and then Yadier Molina with the Cardinals. And that's an interesting one because it kind of overlapped with Albert Pujols.
Yeah.
But those three cats, I don't know if because I've lost fandom, will ever have that kind of understanding of what those dudes were to those teams. And it's awesome that Houston has that in Alex Bregman. That is awesome.
I mean, the guy obviously for this generation is Jose Altuve.
Yeah.
I mean, Bregman, if he stays, like, he'll be battling for like second best of this generation, and probably somewhere in between number 5 and number 10 of all time.
Teams with wildly poor fails to succeed. And I think I'm going to start with the Cleveland Cavaliers, who I think were in cohorts with the NBA when it happened and they took LeBron James.
Yeah.
They had the best basketball player to ever play. I get it was at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Him taking that team against Dallas.
But they saw the writing on the wall.
They did.
They knew what year he was graduating.
Yes.
They've seen him since he was a 12-year-old playing basketball. They knew exactly what they're doing.
Everything was done in their favor. I'm only talking about the first time around, not the second time around.
Right.
But that to me is a top tier just disaster of an attempted rebuild. Having those tools that were acquired and then not being able to build the success they could with those.
Friend of the show, JD, on the line wants to ask you boys a question.
Is it about rebuilding teams?
I imagine so.
Oh, okay. So friend of the show, JD, is with us. JD, welcome, brother.
My brother's from another mother. What's going on?
Oh, like that.
JD.
Now, we know you're going to mention the Dallas Cowboys 2000 to 2012, so you don't have to. Talk to us a little bit about failed rebuilds.
Oh, my gosh. That's sort of what I'm talking about. So the last time we had a question like this came up, we nailed it. We said, where was he going to go from Texas? And he landed at Ole Miss in basketball. Because everybody said he wasn't going to do it. Within 2 months of us talking about it, he was there, right?
Keep going.
So my question now is, does Jimbo Fisher go back to Florida State?
Oh, this is such a good question.
Because this Norvell attempt at a rebuild has been disastrous, to say the least.
This is an excellent point. We're talking about colleges, and we're talking about rebuilds. Florida State. They wanted Dion. They didn't get Dion.
The huge difference is a college rebuild and a pro rebuild are wildly different. I mean, they're a little closer now because of NIL, and you could infuse money, blah, 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 and you could build it. But like in the case of like all the successful rebuilds, it's taken 5 to 7 years for like a professional sports franchise to really tank and turn it around. But alma mater like Florida State or name your top shelf college doesn't have the patience for that. They're not like, oh, we'll suck for 5 years. We'll keep building. We'll keep infusing name, image, likeness money, and we'll slowly build towards. No, if you don't turn around in 2 years, you're gone, and it's the next guy's job.
And JD's not wrong about Ole Miss. And good call, JD. You're the best. And JD's not wrong about the Ole Miss situation with Jimbo Fisher. And is Lane Kiffin there now? I don't really know.
Yeah.
When they didn't get Manning, that all. And by the way, you weren't really in the running. Like the NIL thing has made it to where you're not really in the running. But I get why you would think you were. No, and even if you found success, it's going to feel unsuccessful because you didn't get Arch Manning.
Right.
Sorry. And I mean, but that's not the one, right? That's not the teams that said, hey, we're going to give it all up to try to do it. The White Sox did it a couple years ago, right? The White Sox, well, and Abreu super fell off. There's a bunch of examples. That's not the best one of all time.
Yeah, some players got hurt. Some players underperformed. Some players like just never who you thought they were. But like in the case of Florida State, I got some bad news for Florida football fan. You're down across the board. It's not the late 80s and early 90s for Florida football anymore. There's no Jimmy Johnson and Bobby Bowden and Steve Spurrier. Like there's these legends aren't there anymore. They're picking up the scrap heap on what Alabama and Clemson and the big dogs don't want.
Those coaching
Florida football's dead.
Yeah. Coaching trees are wildly gone too. The only rebuild that actually matters is the Oklahoma City Thunder. All right, so this is a good one from the texter, friend of the show, Kyle. He's talking about 2019 to 2021. Not wrong.
Yeah.
Not wrong at all.
OKC Thunder, they're looking good.
Yeah. Hey,
really good going forward.
Hey, legit. The worst rebuild ever, Seattle Supersonics.
How can you rebuild when we don't exist?
Yeah.
I think the Chet Holmgren injury was on purpose. They're like, hey, you're too skinny. You go out there and you fake an injury. We'll add 20 pounds the next year. You come back and you be a stud.
Carolina Panthers right now.
Ugh. No. They got worse with their number 1 overall pick. They gave up their future. If they would have tanked, they would have built up picks for 3 years and used those picks. They gave all of their picks away for Bryce Young. He is not good.
You know what might end up being the best one of all time? I know we got to go to break, guys. I'm so sorry. You know what might end up being the best one of all time? If this Oakland Athletics team goes to Vegas,
immediately successful,
and becomes world beaters.
And the owner starts spending money, and like they establish a new culture.
The weird part, though, because you can't rebuild in baseball the way that the Houston Astros did so many years ago. Because now the way with arbitration and the way agents know how to get around it, the Atlanta Braves ruined it for everyone.
Sure.
The team you have now is the team you're going to have 6 years from now. It cannot be done that way anymore.
I think the Cubs did it, and then the Astros did it better than anyone.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of seeing it from the Tigers. Like the Tigers, like they tanked for a while, and they got a good young core, and some of their picks hit. But it's just so hard to do in baseball when you're drafting teenagers, and you just got to roll the dice and hope 3 or 4 years these guys are studs, like your scout said they were.
When we get back from the break, we continue through our first hour, wrapping that first hour with our Isham Dental soundbite of the day. It's 2 Men On, 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
I would set up the Isham for the second hour if you can.
Back live at Duke City Cage is we're a little closer to the break than I thought, Vance. Our Isham Dental Soundbite of the day is going to wait till 5 o'clock, which is okay with me. It's the same theme. It always is with the Isham Dental Soundbite. It's how crazy Aaron Rodgers is.
He's leveled up, and I love it.
I have belief that his press conference podium moments, he chat GBTs before. Like, craziest thing you can put into a press conference as it relates to this football team's opponent.
Sprinkle of recency bias, but he's the GOAT of this. Like, there's some all-time greats. Your Bill Belichick, your Clinton Portis, like
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
There's some legends of this thing. Aaron Rodgers is the best at it.
Because he's won. If he was a loser like CeeDee Lamb, he'd just be apologizing the whole time.
I don't think he's a big apologizing type.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember if he told a bunch of people not to get a vaccine and killed them in Wisconsin. You remember that?
I don't know if he's really an accountability type of guy.
Yeah. Entertaining, though.
He swore.
CeeDee Lamb's a man of accountability.
He's accounting his money instead of playing football. That's a good one. When we get back from the break, we're at Duke City Cages, and it'll be our Isham Dental Soundbite of the day.
Route 66.
Go get 'em.
I'm trying. All right, I'm gonna put you guys hot now. Mike's hot.
Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to 2 Men On. It's our Isham Dental soundbite of the day. IshamDentalABQ.com. That's where you go there, get that free exam and x-ray. Go see Scott Isham, and he will, of course, put the fingers that have been in my mouth in your mouth, help you with dentures, implants, whatever he does to make me look handsome. He's awesome.
He's a wizard. If he could do that to you,
Yeah.
imagine, friend of the show, what he can do with your beautiful face.
I called Scott the other day. I'm like, hey, brother, meet us at Howie Sports Page. We're going to watch the Monday Night Football, doubleheader, blah, 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 this, that, the other things. He's like, yeah, I'm in. He calls me back, and he says, wait, are you going to be there? I say, yeah. He says, oh, I'm busy.
Bummer.
Ouch.
Bummer. It's okay. We'll be there every Monday forever.
I love that.
Every Monday forever. How about that?
It's our Isham Dental soundbite of the day.
What Peyton said about Hack, is that on your mind at all going into this game? Back of your mind, front of your mind?
No, that's old news. We've all said things that we'd like to take back. Some things have been said and taken out of context, I'm sure, from time to time. But I honestly haven't thought about it till you just brought it up.
So this is questioning from Press. I believe it's NYSN, which is the big sports network up there in New York. And they often travel to New Jersey to cover the Jets, so that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
So they are asking Aaron Rodgers about the comments in the Denver organization last year when Sean Payton was talking about how Nathaniel Hackett couldn't hack it. And he says, it's old news. We've all said things we'd like to take back.
Nice. Such a troll. I love it so much. Before his weird COVID stuff, this is what made me love Aaron Rodgers even more. Because he wouldn't just sugarcoat stuff and do your cliched football talk to the media. He would shoot straight with you. And he would do it in a way that was also trolling the media. You get a little sprinkle of Aaron Rodgers' personality and a little sprinkle of internet troll. And I was always there for it. And I'm glad it's coming back.
Also, to be fair,
To be fair,
Sean Payton was 100% right on this one. Hackett sucked. He was booty and garbage and
without
trash.
Aaron Rodgers.
He could not do it.
The only reason he got the job is he's supposed to recruit Aaron Rodgers to Denver, and he failed at that too.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
you're correct. He's like, yeah, I'm a pretty good coach. I just don't know how to recruit anyone ever.
He looks so much better when Aaron Rodgers is his quarterback. It's wild how good of a coach he is.
The super wild part is when the reporter asked him that, he was like, oh, I'm immunized against bad takes, bro.
It's a good one too.
Yeah, he said, not your guy, pal. Not your pal.
Maybe you should go on a darkness retreat and ask a non-stupid question, bro.
Was LaFleur in Green Bay when Aaron Rodgers was there? He had to be.
Oh, yeah, at the end, for sure. Yeah, he was part of the regime that drafted Jordan Love. They're like, hey, this guy's on his way out. Hackett, you too.
Everyone who's not my best friend and boyfriend, Jordan Love.
Yeah, sure. They got that one right, too.
That's the thing I think that people don't get about teams. It's like fan bases, I guess, primarily, but, maybe people that weren't part of sports. You only get one team one time. That team, not only does it change year to year, it changes month to month, week to week, day to day. And whatever, there's no NFL team this year that's going to field the exact same team 17 times. That's not going to happen. And if you start as a reporter, try to do the low-hanging fruit of multiple degrees of this guy, you end up with some pretty bad press conference stuff. Pretty bad.
But at least, even if it's a bad press conference, at least it's a real press conference. Because what I consider to be a bad press conference is when people just,
we got 11 guys on offense, 11 guys on defense, and 11 guys on special teams. They all got to come together and, play some football, really get out there, support each other, and go out there and practice.
That's boring. Aaron Rodgers, talking smack to a reporter for asking a stupid question, that is golden. Give me more of that. Give me more personality. Give me more unique individualism. Like,
Sure.
use your own voice. Be who you are.
Well, hold up. That's exactly what I'm saying. As the reporter, use your voice. Because I, like you, like so many fans of good people, love dunking on Sean Payton. They love it more than anything. He sucks. He is a bad human being.
Mm-hmm.
I can give you receipts. Ask that.
Yeah.
If you say, hey, you know that dude who was an idiot? He kind of struck gold this one time. Like, if you give him a chance to call him an idiot, give him a chance to do a thing. Like, miss me with hey, I'm going to really softball one in here. You like Nathaniel Hackett, right? Like, what are we doing? I'm not a fan. That's all I'm trying to get to. I'm not a fan of trying to get a guy, and that's not like a trap question. You know, it's just it's a softball question as we're here at Duke City Cages. A slow pitch one, not like a really hard, like advanced level, like women's softball. Not that one. That one's hard.
Also, you can do slow pitch, fast picks here, baseball.
Yeah.
Not only hitting, but, they got fielding facilities.
There's
pitching
massage,
mounts.
brother.
I'm going to get a massage.
Oh,
I'm gonna get stretched out. Actually,
there's two tables.
You're getting stretched out.
Isaiah, we're gonna do a segment where we're getting stretched out at Duke City Cages.
All righty.
Headsets on the whole thing.
Okay. Don't be a hater.
Yeah, you
Like,
jealous, dude? What's up?
I mean, you act like a hater, but I know it's just all
Yeah.
jealousy. Like, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely jealous of the massages.
It's more of a stretch.
Also, I think they're here till 7:30. If you want to rush
Yeah,
down,
if you want to rush down,
Okay.
we got you.
yeah, and if you want, I can ask them to stretch out their time.
Noted.
Sell that.
Also, you coming down like after we get stretched out, like she has to put her hands on our disgusting human bodies.
She or he,
Yours-
there's two now.
Yeah, yours is like above average. So like she will appreciate having like a real human,
Yeah.
like a human body.
I'll be like, I don't really know if that stretch is working on me.
Mhm.
And she'll say, well, I can't find anywhere firm to grasp.
Sure.
Like it's your,
What do I hold on to?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You little pudgy boy.
How am I going to get leverage?
Yeah. You're like my favorite catcher.
Mhm. Can I just
Pudge Rodriguez.
just grab your back fat like a defensive back does to a wide receiver who's
Yeah.
about to score? Like,
Yeah.
that's exactly what she's going to
That's
do.
a very good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the real problem. You're gonna go over there with your mohawk, and I'm gonna go over there with my ham hocks. Like
Okay.
it's gonna slow down the stretching. Also, everyone deserves to be stretched. We're gonna learn the medical benefits. I don't really know enough.
I'm excited to learn some new things.
I am like you and like Isaiah and all the friends of the show that all knew we didn't have to stretch when we were playing a lot of sports in high school and then our early collegiate careers. And now that we're old, realize the importance of it and how we failed ourselves for years. I'm like you guys.
Insanely accurate.
Yeah.
It's wild to me how when I wake up in the morning and get out of bed, everything pops.
Yeah.
Almost in the same order every day. too.
Oh, and I got it on to muscle memory where it's a little twist here, a little, yes. Not healthy.
First thing, you move that elbow down, push yourself up, and you got elbow, shoulder, lower back. You
Knees
get up,
and toes.
then you
Knees and toes.
finally get up to 90 degrees, and then like you get up to 90 degrees, pop
Yeah.
in them hips. Then you push down on the bed,
Yeah.
and there goes the back of your shoulders, pop. Take
That's
one
the
step
best one.
forward, ankle, knee,
The
hip,
ankle,
hip
ankle,
again.
yeah. Ankle, knee is when I'm standing in front of the toilet. Like I'm doing like the good morning.
You lean forward.
I do a little lean
Yeah,
forward,
crack,
then
crack,
crack, all the way up and down. And if I don't crack everything before I get in the shower, my whole day is off. Like you ever popped your knee or something in the shower and it sounds different in there, and you're like, that one was damaging. That wasn't a relief one.
Oh, when it's wet, it doesn't have that echo
Yeah,
quality.
I don't
You're
like that.
Oh, that's the last time it's doing this.
It sounds like this.
Oh, it leaked air. Oh, that's bad.
That was R. Kelly sheets.
That's way worse.
Yeah, it's not good. Not good. We got a fun interview whenever we get back from the break. It's Tuning On live from Duke City Cages, 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Jam. Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to Two Men On. We're live at Duke City Cages, and they have a fun announcement. They have just partnered with Rio Rancho Cages, which doesn't exist yet, but it's going to. And co-owner Damian Griego is with us. Damian, welcome, brother. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Now, you may remember Damian from his playing days at Volcano Vista. He is a young blood himself, about to graduate UNM, which is a world of excitement. What's the degree in?
Mechanical engineering.
Okay, we'll sit back.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Almost done.
Okay.
That's
Not a smart man. About to be exposed.
the you.
Yeah,
You're
me.
talking about you.
Yeah,
Yes.
me. Definitely me.
Yeah, Duke City, or excuse me, Rio Rancho Cages going in over there at Southern and Unser. There's it's like a church or something, right?
It is.
So
yeah.
this is literally the Holy Land you're talking about.
Calvin said it was meant to be. He said we got to get in there, but we got to wait till they're done. We can't kick them out. We got to wait.
Yeah,
wait till
so
their lease
not
is
till
over.
the new year, but you're excited about it. But me and Van are ready, so we're gonna walk in. We both talked about this. We're gonna walk in, and I'm gonna go to the middle of it, and Van's gonna slowly pan a camera around me, and then I'm gonna go, "Is this heaven?"
Mm.
And then the entirety of Field of Dreams.
Did you catch that reference?
The Field of Dreams.
Oh,
reference?
okay, good.
I heard him say it. At the end,
Because
so,
you heard him
yeah,
say Field of
yeah.
Dreams. I mean, if a baseball stadium's a cathedral, it's perfect that Rio Rancho Cages is a church.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. It's a good location. It's a good, good spot. We've got a lot of teams. Hopefully, another spot, more success.
Yeah.
So Rio Rancho loves their sports too, man. The sports culture out there is hardcore. They take it seriously.
They got some good ball players, that's for sure. They're growing so much out there. Everyone's going to Rio Rancho, so it's there's a lot of good ball players, that's for sure.
David, you're in your early 20s. You grew up playing high school baseball. You worked here at the Cages for the last 5 years, 6 years, something crazy.
About 5, yeah.
But in the first hour, we're talking a little bit about Alex Bregman. We're talking about Alex Bregman probably played his last regular season home game with the Houston Astros. A nice little ovation. What did Alex Bregman mean to you as a young baseball player coming up here in Albuquerque?
I was able to meet him a couple times
Sure.
when I was real little. I went to a fundraiser that he was doing, and he was in high school. You kind of don't realize how cool he is until you grow up, right? When you're in middle school, he's Alex Bregman, good for him. And all of a sudden you grow up, you realize just how incredible what he's doing is, and it's hope for all of them, right? For even the boys in here that we coach and everything. It's hope. He's pretty incredible. My grandpa might be his biggest fan. He tells me not to take for granted what he's doing, because he's pretty special.
It's about as exceptional as it gets. Damian Griego with us. He's the co-owner of Rio Rancho Cages. All right, talk to us about the location. Southern and Unser. You guys are is it a recreation of what's going on here at Duke City Cages? Is it another imagining? Walk us through what baseball fan and hopefully baseball player is going to experience.
We're looking at the area. There's just, there's a couple locations over there that do some baseball, but not a lot in that area for West Siders of Albuquerque, of Rio Rancho. There's just not much to do. So it's hopefully to branch, help us in this location, but it's also to go help those players as well. We know 15 teams that don't have a home, that when it's winter and there's nothing going on, what do they do? So just looking to help not just our kids, but just the kids around the state, and get them a spot to hopefully practice year round.
I want to go back to Alex Bregman for a second, because his fundamentals are fantastic. Like that short, compact, modern swing, gets the barrel through the zone, gets the reps in, plays great defense. When you're teaching kids here, is he one of the examples for the class?
100%, especially because he's not a, quote unquote freak. Like it's hard to show kids Aaron Judge and have them try and copy that. Yeah, I mean, we're in New Mexico, right? But that's a guy who's, I don't know what he's listed at, but I don't think he's over 5'10", and he's a normal guy who's put in so much work that he's not normal. And so 100%, he might be our biggest reference, just because he's a thing you look at and you think the boys could reach it, right?
Yeah.
Because they'll have similar God-given attributes.
Damian Griego's with us. 2019 state champ, is that right?
2019,
Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Van and I were never athletic enough to win a state championship.
How dare you?
Did he get a ring? Did you get a ring?
I did.
Is it like, what do you like? Hey, like, where's it at though?
It is in my garage somewhere, up with a bin of cleats and old hats and old books, and we cleaned out my room. It's in there somewhere.
No, it's not on the mantle above the fireplace. It's in a box in the garage.
It was on the mantle for a while, and then it hit a point where I kept looking at it and thought it was time to change the room up a little bit.
And then,
you don't want to peak too young, right?
Right.
You don't have other aspirations.
Yeah, I changed my aspirations to winning 13U tournaments down here
let's
instead.
go.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
go.
Yeah.
All right, so the new Rio Rancho Cages, obviously cages in the name. Cages are going to be an option there. But is it everything else that you guys are doing? I know here at Duke City Cages, they have the outdoor play turf, the weight facility, they do the stretching. It's everything. Is it going to be a recreation of that stuff as well?
As best as we can. So this is about 14,000 square feet
Yeah.
here. The one down there is a little over 7. So it's obviously we're not going to be able to do the downstairs and everything we have here, but it should be 7 cages, a full-size bullpen, and a full-size gym as well. So as much as we can fit into it, we're really trying to make the most of the space.
Love everything about that. Damon Grego is with us. We're talking a little bit about Rio Rancho Cages going in over at Southern and Unser. All right, for the friend of the show, how close is that to Slate Street?
2 slots over, same build. I mean,
Okay,
we're
nice.
100 feet over almost.
Okay.
As soon as that ends, we start. We're on that same side of the plaza.
So I want to make sure I get this right. You take your kid to Rio Rancho Cages.
Mhm.
You drop off your ball player. You then get to hang out on Slate Street.
There's a lot of options around there, but that's an option that my dad told me was a good option.
Yes.
So that was how I referenced my dad where we were. As soon as I told him Slate Street, he knew exactly where we
Your
were
dad
moving
is me
into.
and Van's people.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
So we super get that. That's the thing too when you're in your early 20s. Like you don't know where to go. You can only trust your parents.
Yeah.
Like how else do you learn where to go somewhere?
Yeah, I've still to this day never really heard of Slate Street, but everyone else seems excited, so I keep saying it.
That's the last thing is the new neighbor. Like go over there. Like walk in. Like, and also and
Bring them a cup of sugar.
yeah. Well,
If you ever need one, I'm your guy.
like just have it on hold.
Also, like Rio Rancho Cages shouldn't have like a bunch of sugar laying around.
No,
that was
don't
just
do
an
that.
example.
Don't pick that. Damien Grego with us, talking a little bit about the cages. All right, so we were telling your story a little bit, which I think is a fun one, right? Came up working at the cages, basically your first job ever. Now moving into an ownership role over there in Rio Rancho. What has this opportunity been for you through baseball?
It's been great. I started playing baseball when I was real little. My dad, that was my thing when I was 2-3 years old. We were playing. I was probably playing t-ball at 4 or 5. So it's just kind of interesting how a door closing, right? Which I would say like is when my senior season
Playing days, yeah.
when my senior season got canceled. That was pretty much what I decided was the end. I could have played on a little bit, but I wasn't Alex Bregman, right? I knew that. I knew I was going to go to school and whatever. So I thought that baseball was done. Got down here and really just Calvin has been, one of the best people around. I've just helped me out a lot.
The owner of Duke City Cages.
Yep. The big guy, the big boss. And it's just, hopefully everything goes well, but assuming it does, it's just been a crazy opportunity and, really lucky to have good people in front of me.
How tremendous.
Wait, what's a different approach that you're bringing to the game? Like you being in your early 20s and you like kind of fresh out of your baseball career versus somebody like Calvin who's been doing it forever, who like, what are you going to bring to the table?
I think we have a good thing here, and it's not just me. It's a bunch of guys that we already have here. But Calvin, and he'll be the first to tell you, isn't a quote-unquote baseball guy.
No.
He never came from it. He never played. He still to this day is, learning. But I'll tell you, as far as business goes, there's no one better. So there's a nice little, dynamic of both where he handles money pretty well, and we have some good ideas on kids and baseball and teams, and it seems to go pretty well together.
What is the expected open date for Rio Rancho Cages?
We want to open, ideally, it's a little bit of a long shot, but February 1st is the goal to have doors open to the public. That's the hope.
Lofty. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, we're excited too. It's a lot of work, a lot of, like you said, the church is still in there. So
Yeah.
we've got a lot of work to do, but February 1st is the check mark date.
Love everything about it. Anything we missed, Damon?
Come check it out.
Yeah.
Come check it out. Hopefully, we're excited. Hopefully it's a good spot for everyone. We want families, teams, kids who haven't played, kids who do play. It's open to everybody and not just our Duke City teams. It's something for the whole state, whole city.
Well, how would a team from the West Side or Rio Rancho get a hold of you guys to get ahead of it, to get their dates, to get their cage scheduled?
They're going to want to probably follow Duke City for now. We really haven't. This is the first announcement probably to the public. So real soon we're going to start marketing a little bit, right, and getting our own word out. But I think if they keep in touch with Duke City, Facebook or Instagram, whatever, from there, we'll definitely be branching off with the sister company soon.
Love it. Well, and we'll make effort to be out there too. You know, that the feedback we get a lot from our friends of the show is, you know, cross the river, boys. Like, come over here. Like we'll come to you if you're over here. And it's a true sentiment. You know, there's absolutely that river is a barrier for some reason. So take opportunity today, and they will enjoy it. Damian Grego, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, not so bad. Not so bad. That was his first time, man.
Did good, man.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Tried my best. I'm a little bit sweaty, a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
Didn't plan on doing this 30 minutes ago, but it's been real fun. I could enjoy it.
Like a natural.
I couldn't tell at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just get ready for your World Series updates with Damian Grego. It's 2 Men On live from Duke City Cages, 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal. Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to Two Men On. We are live at Duke City Cages. And the weirdest story, get ready for more of this stuff too, by the way. So it's being reported by a journalist that this quarterback for UNLV, which I'm not sure if you guys are up to speed on the story, so I'll try to smarten you up a little bit. Matthew Sluka, S-L-U-K-A, that he was putting himself into a redshirt season because he felt that his NIL deal wasn't paid to completion or whatever. And now it seems as if the university is, number one, calling him a liar, number two, kind of putting the laundry out there, and number three, bring me some popcorn.
Yeah, this is a developing story, and this is going to get progressively crazier. But literally yesterday, Matthew Sluka, quarterback for UNLV, transferred from Holy Cross. He said he was promised $100,000 in NIL money by an assistant coach that recruited him, and his family is saying he's only gotten $3,000 of that $100,000. This is after preseason.
Yeah.
This is after 3 weeks of the college football season so far. They're 3-0.
This
by
is
the way.
verbally you're talking about.
Yeah, they're 3-0. They're in the top 30 for the first time in forever. But he's saying that he's only gotten his family is saying he's only gotten $3,000 of that $100,000 promise.
And the universities confirmed that.
Yeah, and his written bills aren't even being paid. So this is coming out of the family's pocket for him to be a quarterback at UNLV.
So it gets a little more interesting. So they brought in an agent. So he has signed a new agent, and the university has said, hey, we are giving you $3,000 a month. That's what you get. That's the deal. That's the deal you signed. But he thought there was a ha-ha-ho-hum verbally, which, by the way, could have been.
Sure.
And now UNLV says, no, we're not paying now. Like you're being weird. Like you're, number one, you're not good enough to play, but it looks as if they're going to hold back the monthly payments moving forward. And Sluka and his agent feel that his market value is increased. First of all, what?
I mean, if that's the situation, that's dirty pool. And actually, I heard that story from the university before I heard of him redshirting himself and quitting this whole football season.
After being undefeated.
The first thing I heard was 3-0 quarterback Matthew Sluka did a new NIL evaluation on himself and wants more money. So it looks like the university or their PR team got ahead of this thing. But then Matthew Sluka goes on social media saying he's going to redshirt himself. He doesn't feel comfortable in this situation. He was made promises that weren't kept, and that was the end of it for him. But his family, who sound lovely at this moment, are just running their mouths to anyone who will listen and saying that he's only gotten $3,000 out of $100,000.
I think, and I might not be completely accurate in this, if you're an NIL athlete moving forward, and I will use this Sluka kid as an example, you pretend to be Doctor Strange and the 14,603 possible outcomes of Thanos, and you say, if we are sitting at 3-0 after 3 games, I go up $1,000 every win. I go up $10,000 every whatever. Like you, and I mean, you write this thing out to where there can be zero confusion on it. And maybe you come in, and in the famed words of my late father, not gambling if you're betting on yourself. Oh, so I hit you with the wrong one, Ben. That's my fault. I hit you with the wrong one again. So as you get there and get that opportunity, you have to have this down now. It has to be in paper.
That was what I thought. Like, there has to be receipts somewhere. If this is only verbal, this is only a handshake deal, it's their fault. It's his fault. It's the family's fault for not getting this on paper, not getting this on text, not getting this on email, like not getting an agent before and getting a proper contract.
Or, and hear me out, go there, get your value super high up, redshirt after 3 games. This is the plan all along, and we see him in Houston playing for the Cougars next year. Like, because that's the kind of thing that happens.
Yeah, or also they're in Vegas. his previous agent lost it at the tables. Like, that's just as likely.
Oh, like the money did come over?
Yeah.
Like they paper bagged it to him?
It's Vegas. They have all the money.
I love that.
They have all the money. Like, if UNLV or the coach agreed to give him $100K, you know how easy $100K is to go missing? You know how many bags there are under tables in Vegas right now? It's so easy to make $100K disappear.
It gets a little bit better than what you just said. It gets this good. It gets wherever he ends up transferred to next season. This is that tampering. This is the, hey, we're going to pay you $100,000 next year to play. By the way, we'll pay you $100,000 this year to sit out and grab a red shirt at UNLV.
Oh, they're not taking care of you? Guess who will?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what we got?
Yeah.
Bag full of money. Come with me. That's the one. I didn't even consider that one until you just brought this up. That's the best one.
Right. Or he goes to Reno.
Oh, so
he's like, hey, here in Tahoe, we keep our promises.
Wolfpack.
We may not be Vegas, but at least we keep our promises here in Tahoe.
Now I'm worried about Devin Dampier.
UNLV's got an opening. Look, by the way, UNLV, you idiots, a 3-0 top 30 college quarterback for only $100K. That is cheap. That is pennies on the dollar. You're not going to fork over $100K for a guy who's playing at a top 30 level.
Oh, and he has
that is dumb.
Hey, and he has his COVID year left. So listen to this: 4 years at Holy Cross. This is his first year at UNLV. So if he redshirts one more, and because he came out during COVID, he still has the COVID one. This will be, I guess, the end of kind of the COVID guys. Well, no, I guess not. There'd be, 2 more seasons. Oh, that's literally what I just said. Also, Nick Saban's like, told you.
So you didn't notice until week 3 that the bag wasn't coming? Like, come on, man. Like, this is Vegas. They don't miss payments in Vegas. When you miss payments in Vegas,
I got a guy that's going to meet you at high noon.
Listen.
Well, sometimes they feel like, oh, if the season starts, then surely when the games start flowing, then my money will come.
Oh, they think that's all tied together?
Sure.
I'm sure in his mind that's why he's waited until week 3 came. He's like, okay, the season's actually going. Especially if you're there to play, you're expecting to be paid to play quarterback. Before the games hit, you're bugged about it, but when you're actually, the season's in full motion and you're still not getting paid, and now you're actually playing quarterback and you're not getting your money, it's going to definitely cause you to boil over a lot faster.
The boil over part that you're giving me is good. The little bit better part, though, is you should be worried about that if this is a legit deal.
Right.
Any other school should be like, oh, you're going to take the guy that quit on his team after 3 games? And that's why this thing's not legit. That's why someone is giving him coin so he can come in, clean slate, whatever, at the next one. Boil over. He knew what he was doing.
This is Vegas. If it was like Southern Virginia A&T or whatever, like it's like they made some promises. They tried to hustle this guy and they come into their college. They figured, oh, he's already here. We're giving him $3,000 a month. Like, we'll just say the $100K was misunderstanding. Coach was talking out of pocket, whatever. This is Vegas. Look, it's so easy to come off $100K in Vegas.
Oh, that's what you say. Let us make it up to you. Hey, actually, 125.
Sure.
No, we're sorry.
Misunderstanding. Yeah. My bad.
The little bit bigger one, if there is
what's super close to your dorm? Caesar's Palace. How about a suite in Caesar's Palace instead of your dorm room? Congratulations, kiddo.
We can trade one box to our games for you to have a year of fun Vegas life. Like it costs us nothing. We got you.
That's why it's sketchy to me. Not because this happened in general. By the way, the NIL stuff is an absolute bleep show.
Yeah.
Like stuff like this was bound to happen.
100%.
It's only going to get worse. But like, it's Vegas. They print money there. There's just stacks and stacks of cash flowing all over that city.
And
that's what makes it sketchy to me.
And college football fan is like, this is the final straw. That's it. I'm done forever. I'll see you guys Saturday.
Yeah. They're doing nothing about it.
Nothing changes.
They're like, oh, we're going to learn from this and move on.
No.
Yeah, this story ain't going away.
He should have lied.
Because this guy, he already said what he said. His family already said what they said. And then UNLV, I mean, they got to fire back. They got to start showing their receipts. Like, this is not going away.
Let's keep running through it whenever we get back, because there's another angle too of like, because there's calculation here. Are they trying to accuse UNLV of pay to play? You know, does this open like an investigation? Is it a bigger deal in the sanctions that could come? It's 2 Men On 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Channel.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's $1 small frosty deal. Get ready to cool down.
Getting stretched out
Uh-huh.
by a professional.
Her name's Felicia.
Not guys, not some guy you met on Grindr, like a professional stretch.
Yep.
And she is tilting your head semi-aggressrally
I'm forgetting to
to
breathe.
one side, like pulling your shoulder down.
Yeah, it's left palm on my cranial muscle.
Okay, none of this is real.
Okay.
Don't listen to Fred.
And there's a little righty boy on my throw-in shoulder.
And this Felicia will have you on the program soon, but this is for his neck. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm gonna take one headphone off so I can hear Felicia.
Aha.
I'm taking direction.
Okay.
All right, Van. So
Oh, you're pushing back on it. Oh, you're stretching. Oh, and you're fighting it too.
this is all right, Isaiah. Now you were a collegiate football player. Does this look like a thing that would benefit you as an athlete?
Yes, that actually stretches your neck out and prevents kinking and
Kinking?
Kinking.
Oh, kinking. Okay, cool.
Yeah, not in your neck.
My beard feels longer. I'm not even sure if that makes sense.
It does not whatsoever. Zay, how intensely did you stretch, like before and after games and before and after workouts?
I would stretch with the team, but I was bad at stretching. But as I got older, I started stretching when I was in college because I realized my years were starting to come to an end.
I think Felicia worked the gristle out. I don't know if that makes sense,
Okay.
but that constant crack. Also, I sweated for some reason.
Your body's fighting it. What's going
my
on?
God, it's fighting athleticism. That was awesome. All right, come down to Duke City Cages and get stretched. Like, what's the rule? Do you tip after that? Like, I don't know how this works.
That's an excellent question. We didn't get to the
Yeah.
bottom of this yet.
We're gonna find out. There's like multiple like stretching tables here. This is legit.
I can't wait to hear more about it from our new friends Felicia and Alistair.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, this is crazy. This what a cool thing. Like, you hit some baseballs.
Yeah.
You practice. You hone your craft. You get stretched out here too. That's
Yeah.
wild.
We're talking a little bit about Matthew Sluka, and he's quarterback for UNLV. Not anymore, I guess. And he's redshirted himself, which is not a thing I knew you could do.
Yeah, that was news to me as well. I didn't know that was a thing.
He has taken representation in the form of an agent. He's getting a bunch of advice, and it's weird. So they're making claims that I want to make sure I got it here. Marcus Cromartie of Equity Sports, that he
Of the famous Cromarties,
I don't know enough to know.
there's so many, and there's so many more coming.
He told ESPN that Sluka was verbally promised a minimum of $100,000 from UNLV assistant coach for transferring there. None of that money was paid per Cromartie. Now, here's the thing about that thing is Equity Sports, who, by the way, won't be able to work with UNLV ever again, they know exactly what to say. Like, are they putting a little bit of smoke out there on the university for pay-to-play whatevers? Because if you, kid, have a six-figure deal, you put it on paper.
100%. Yeah. I mean, were your parents your agent before this? Because if you had a proper agent before, I mean, did you not think that you would be a competent top 30 starting quarterback?
Yeah.
Did you not think that your team would be 3-0? Like, are you having regrets now that you're 3-0? Like, is this buyer's remorse for not getting this on paper, or is this legitimate? You got hosed.
I'm about to give the most life advice I've ever given to anyone. If Isaiah is listening, this is for Isaiah. If friend of the show is in the car, this is for friend of the show. If any human being out there that can put their ears on this following sentence I'm about to say, it's the most important sentence I've ever said. A verbal agreement is worth the paper it's written on. That is it. Because it's not. It's nothing. And there's coy ways to do it. You send a text. You send an email. Hey, as per the conversation we had, I wanted to confirm these details. Sent.
In a lot of states, and New Mexico is one, an email's a binding contract.
100%.
A text is a binding contract. If somebody promised you $100,000 and you didn't get on paper or text or email, you are a fool.
Also, if somebody promises you $100,000 and they're not in that moment handing you $100,000, that person is what we call in the game a liar.
Sure. Also,
what I would do, I would just ask an initial question, like,
yep,
and then scan that answer for as many red flags as you can. So the first time you feel like it's taking a little longer than it should, just kind of hint to like, so am I going to get that like tomorrow, or how does that work?
No. You say that your answer is good. My answer is better. You say this. You say, So you're a liar. You say, what other things do you lie about?
that one's gonna sting deep. So I just wanted to know, Coach, what else do you lie about?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. What do you mean? I was talking about the 100,000, yo.
Yeah.
He needs smarter parents, and he needed an agent before this. But what he really needs is J.G. Wentworth at 877 cash now.
What he really needs. Oh, you tell me the university could have given him an annuity? Yeah. The structured settlement. That's what you're talking about.
I'm in.
What he needs, and he can't get it because he left Holy Cross, is Jesus.
Oh,
he needs a little help.
He ain't in Vegas.
He said, she said, give me receipts.
You have no proof whatsoever?
No.
You're a liar, kiddo. If you got some proof, this is on UNLV, and I hope their season crumbles.
Oh, season? You talking about college football season? Because we're about to be in receipt season.
It's
the best
coming.
one.
If it's just word of mouth and you're just saying the coach said it, because I've actually been in a very interesting situation like this, and I was hot. You guys know how I am when I get hot. I'm like
irrational. The answer is irrational.
But it gets to the point where, as a player, you want to put a coach in the hot seat. So I would ask the coach, whoever said it, try to get him in the front and whoever else and say, hey, did you tell me that you're going to give me $100,000 or not? And look him in the eye and see if the man inside will actually lie in front of everybody.
You would hate to see me at a state athletic commission. I'm Mr. Fight Everyone. Are we talking about money? We talking about my livelihood? There's a handful of things you're not allowed to take from me, and one of those things is that. Figure it out. Also, stop lying to kids. Also, and I'll be this guy because I don't. The number of football coaches that I like is real small, and it's not on accident.
Yeah, mine wasn't money related. I was brought in, and they told me I'd be brought in to play defensive line. And I got there, and the O-line coach picked me up from the airport. The O-line coach on the way back to Vegas is telling me how I'm going to fit in well with the program at O-line. In the back of my head, I'm thinking, I was not brought here to be an offensive lineman. So about a week into summer camp, I finally put my foot down, and I was like, I'm not playing O-line. So I can go home now, or you can let me go to defense. And the rest was history.
Would have been sweet if they gave you more money, though.
And $100K.
Yeah, give me $100K. All right, we got a fun guest whenever we sit down. Felicia, who just rocked my world with one touch, is coming on the program. This is going to get weird. 2 men on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal. Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to 2 Men On. We are live at Duke City Cages, and I think for the first time we have a guest that doesn't have shoes on. Felicia, put that right in front of your mouth. Welcome to the show, friend. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, now walk me. All right, so, and you're going to have to smarten me up on some of this.
Okay.
So we're at Duke City Cages. You're doing stretching, not of yourself, of others.
Correct.
And I've heard claims that stretching makes you a better athlete.
It does.
Okay, good. So we're on the same page here. But you just took all the gristly noise out of my neck whenever I turn it. What just happened to my body?
A couple of different things. So depending on like your posture whenever you're at work,
Terrible.
the way that you sleep at night, like
Awful.
on your side, like a little baby.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's me 100%.
Yeah, I hold a little pillow.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
a teddy bear.
Like repetitive motion, like a lot of these kids here, they've been playing baseball since they could barely walk. And so they have a lot of issues and tightness in the muscles. That cracking you're hearing though, there's something in your muscles called fascia. I think everyone's probably started to hear that term thrown around a lot more lately.
Well, because of Kamala Harris. She's a fascia.
No.
Oh, fascia.
Strike that.
Yeah, sorry
Strike
about
that.
my
Reverse
bad.
it.
Yeah.
Well, so fascia, it like think about like a ribeye steak, right? It's got that
All right,
fat that marbles all the way through it.
That's my favorite part of a ribeye steak.
Me too. Fascia does that through your muscles. It's literally what they found connects from your head to your toes. Everything in your body is encompassed with fascia in it. So when we're stretching you and you're hearing those pops and those clicks, a lot of times that's extra fascia that's built up in your anatomy. And that's what causes that like restriction and that tightness. So
And now it's gone forever.
not forever.
Ah.
No.
So that explains it, because my lower back was super, super tight for the longest. And I finally laid down and my bed adjust a little bit. So I put it in like a zero gravity mode and I just relaxed.
What?
And I felt pops, like actual, and I wasn't moving or anything, but just the position I was laying in and I was breathing and I was relaxing my body and I felt pops.
We need, all right, side note for
Let's
later.
rewind and unpackage
Yeah, we
this.
need a whole segment
You
on
have
this
a
bed.
zero gravity bed?
They, like put you upside
Where's your
down?
apartment, NASA?
Yeah, what is, do you live on the Starship Enterprise?
No, it's definitely my bed in my studio is like a Ferrari in a mobile park, but it should not be there as far as finances. But it's very beneficial because my back was so hurt.
Our new friend Felicia is with us. All right, walk us through the stretching here at Duke City Cages. Is it part of Duke City Cages proper? Is it your own entity? Like, help us understand.
So we're in partnership now. I literally just started my business last week.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I was gonna do it about a year ago, but I had a baby, and so I had to wait.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So it is my own business. It's called Recapture Mobility.
Okay.
And it's going to be operating within Duke City Cages and over. Calvin's opening up another gym called Duke City Fitness off of Manal.
Spoiler.
So we're going to have
Spoiler.
a room there where we're going to be doing like hour-long sessions and working more one-on-one with athletes. Here it's just kind of like getting the word out, doing little mini stretches with the kids while they're at practice and their parents. So, yeah.
So how often would you recommend like these deep stretches?
So the science and medical research behind it shows that you want to do it once a week is ideal, right? Because you could see me once a week and you're going to leave and you're going to be like, I feel amazing. I feel great. And you're going to go home for a day or two and you're going to be able to do things that maybe didn't feel so good the day before you saw me and they're going to feel fine. But unless you're doing a lot of stuff at home to maintain what I've done to you, your body's just going to go right back into that same position. But over time, we usually say about 90 days, you would actually start to see like biological change in your tissues. So after like 3 months, you might not have to see me once a week, right? You might drop to every other week, and then you might get to a point where it's once a month. So in the beginning, every week is recommended.
To piggyback on that, you like a proper 1 hour session every week, but what does that daily maintenance look like after?
Well, we give you homework, right? And it's customized to you. So what we're seeing here with the kids is a lot of this like intense internal rotation with their shoulders. So a lot of the homework we're giving them is just to open up
You're
their
talking like
chest muscles.
Quasimodo stuff.
Yeah, and they're young. It's, you know, because they've been playing the sport for so long.
Yeah.
It's different than when I was a child athlete. Like it's so much more competitive now, and they have more practices, more tournaments. So at a really young age, they're developing these intense postural issues. And so ideally, you want them to be doing stuff to correct this once a day. And so you give them 1 or 2 stretches. You don't want to overwhelm them because if you give them too much, they're not going to do it at all.
Right.
But ideally, you want them to do it every day because if you think about how long it took them to get their body into that position, it's going to take kind of an equal amount of time for them to reverse that.
Now, Van rolls around on his floor with a yoga tube. Is
Yeah.
he doing damage to himself or is he helping?
A yoga tube? Is it like a foam roller?
He's making all this up. Yeah,
Yes.
foam.
Oh.
Let's call it a foam roller. How
I
about
thought
that?
yoga tube was a name.
Yoga tube. Foam rolling has very mixed opinions in the industry. I don't ever tell my clients to do foam rolling,
Oh, interesting, Van.
but I'm very good friends with a woman who is a foam rolling instructor. So the reason
Hold on.
I don't
You
recommend
can become
it,
an instructor in anything?
pretty much.
That's what I just heard.
This is America.
Yes.
Well, it causes really tiny micro tears in your tissues.
Van.
And so one of my teachers asked me this question and it stuck with me. Do you ever feel good while you're foam rolling? And I was like, no, never. And he says, is there any lasting change for you after you do it? And I said, no, not really. And he said, then don't do it. And I was like, it's a good point. It's a really good point because it feels really terrible when I do it and it doesn't really do a whole lot for my body. So
Fred mentioned yoga. Like, what's the difference between the stretches that you're trying to do with these athletes and like something that you'd see in yoga or even like something that's like just a basic sports stretch?
that's a very good question. And when I learned how to do this stretching, I actually had like a midlife crisis because I am a yoga teacher too.
There you go.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to quit teaching yoga. It's useless, right? Which isn't true. It has its own place. But in
Picking
yoga,
up East Coast transplants in Santa Fe who love Georgia O'Keeffe.
Yeah.
That's what it's for.
For sure.
We're all aware.
that's one of the boxes. That's part of it.
About foam rollers, one thing I
Um,
have noticed that they help with is like say during football, if I was sore from practice and I went in and I knew we had squats that day, it like sometimes I may have not been able to squat at all. But then if I would just like really fast go on the foam roller, roll out my hips, it would work like as an instant fix. But like long term, it wouldn't really fix anything. But
Exactly.
if I knew I was going to have to do like some type of activity within the next 5 minutes, I'm like, let me hop on the foam roller real
Zay,
quick.
I think you're alone with foam in this conversation, brother. It's a whole I saw a gun that shoots you with a ball here. This is the future.
No, that
percussion
is
tool.
big too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you surrendered your yoga religion to get into actually helping people.
I took a break.
Okay.
Well, so yoga, and my teacher that certified me in this actually kept calling me out because I was a yoga teacher. Yogis have all this hypermobility, right? They can do all this crazy bendy stuff with their bodies, but it's because they're trashing their joints. A lot of it's passive, right? They're not actually engaging the right muscles to put themselves in that position. They're compromising their joints. And so this stretching is a lot different because it's a stretch and contract method. So you're actually activating your muscles while we're stretching you, right? It's not just, you could stretch yourself at home. Anyone can do that. But it's the contraction and you're pushing into us. We're giving you the resistance. And then when you release that contraction, we've triggered something in your body called the Golgi tendon reflex.
All right, hold on. Golgi.
Golgi.
All right. Tendon reflex. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
From the Golgi apparatus, Fred. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
I said it wrong for years. I was like, Golgi.
But there also was no one there to ever correct you.
No, a lot of this stuff, it's newer, the industry as a whole is not very good about updating. So, but once that tendon reflex is triggered, we did an ultrasound on someone's muscles at a place I used to work at. And it actually shows like this surge of blood entering into the muscle. And then once they relax the contraction, the muscle just lengthens, like all the fibers that make up the muscle, the sarcomeres, they just relax and lengthen. And you don't get that when you're just, stretching yourself passively until you've put yourself in that position for 6 to 7 minutes. So with us, it's like a 1 to 2 minute cycle. By yourself, it would take 6 to 7 minutes to achieve that.
Do you partner it with popping stuff?
No, that's chiropractics. We don't pop stuff. I mean, you'll hear your fascia popping, your joints might pop a little bit, but we don't crack necks. We don't align your skeletal system, anything like that.
So I think like we were just talking about how old we are, right? We roll out of bed every morning and every single part of our body is garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Will it stop popping if we properly
Yes.
manage it?
Yes. So actually, a lot of people that work with us, they stop seeing their chiropractors after a while, because if you think about chiropractics, it feels really good when they're popping and cracking you and aligning you. But if your muscles are still tight when you leave there, your muscles are going to pull you right back into
Right in
that
the
same
same spot.
position.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to keep going to them over and over. So if you work on the muscle instead of the bones, you're going to get better results. A lot of people do it in combination.
Sure.
You know, some people quit their chiropractor. I'm not saying to do that. You know, everyone's going to be different.
Yeah, maybe listen to your
But-
doctor. That's probably the advice you should take.
That's
Not
what I
from
always tell
us.
people. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor, but
Yeah, we're not the guy.
Yeah.
One of the best feelings is when you realize that your lower back or your back hurts because your hamstrings are tight. So you stretch out your hamstrings, and then all of a
Mhm.
sudden, instantly, so much
Relief.
just relieves. Yes,
Yeah,
so
that's
much relief.
one of the main things we see people for is low back pain, and they're surprised when we tell them we're going to work on your hips. You know, because
Uh-huh.
if you have tight hips or hamstrings or anything, that's just pulling your low back forward. It's putting a lot of pressure on your low back. So
I mean, sports science is like always evolving with the time and information. Do you feel like this form of stretching is like the next leap in sports science?
So yes, a lot of what I do, and I'm a baby at this, by the way. I've been doing this for the past 2 years, but there are people who have been doing this and researching it for like 10, 15 years. But the doctor that I got certified with out in California is like world famous right now. And I was looking at his website, and I didn't realize until I started coming to work here and reviewing stuff. He is like training coaches and people to do what I do, and they're working with all the major sports teams, like basketball, baseball, football. They're working with professional cheerleaders, like everyone. The guy that specifically certified me at my course actually was just like in the news because he trained an Olympian that won at the Olympics, I guess, like one of the runners.
Have a track, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wow. So it's going to be big. People just need to kind of find
Well,
out about it.
And kind of the last one before we cut you loose on this is, can you talk about the connection from like physically calming the body? Like Isaiah is a really good example. Isaiah spent too many years in his young years beating himself up, not recovering correctly, and now he's just angry all the time. Can you talk about how like physically healing your body mentally calms your mind?
Yes. A lot of trauma is stored in your body, right? You can go to talk therapy for years and not really find the relief or be able to decrease symptoms of like anxiety and depression.
Possible new show name, Talk Therapy, right there.
And then people will come and do like something like this, or they'll go see a yoga therapist or even
Mhm.
sometimes massage therapist. And in the industry, it's called somatic therapy. Soma means body in Latin. So in somatic therapy, body therapy, you're moving cells around in your body that got trapped somewhere in the moment of trauma, right? Whether it was like an emotional trauma, a physical trauma, you broke a bone, something got pulled at practice. Like at the cellular level, they store in that area of your body. And so when you start moving it, massaging it, stretching it, lifting weights, even all of these things help to relieve and cycle those cells that have been trapped in your body out. And so you get big relief from it, and that translates to your mind. Whereas talk therapy, there's this really famous book. It's called The Body Keeps the Score, and it was required in one of my courses. This guy was like a mental health expert, psychologist, and he started to notice all these connections between different diagnoses and specific traumas on the body. And what they found was that talk therapy, more often than not, actually just continues to re-trigger you to the moment when you were traumatized. So for some people, it can be helpful, but for the vast majority of people, it's not as effective as the body therapy is proving to be.
I'm going to say this. I don't know anything about any of it, and I know that we're not qualified to tell anyone anything about any of it, but I know if you feel good afterwards, like you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Right. That I know. I know that for a fact.
Also, it's been like 20 minutes since you got worked on. How you feeling?
I've become more angry, but I think a lot of it is Isaiah related. I think.
Well, the gym helps me out. I mean, I don't know if it's I'm sure it's my way of therapy, for sure. If I don't go, I will be more irritated if I don't go because I'm like stuck in that loop. But definitely, and I think just when you're working out or you're stretching, if you're thinking about, if you are trapping things in your own brain, if you are thinking about that while you're being stretched out or while you're working out, it also really helps to get rid of it because it's psychologically a way to deal with problems. So it's like you're dealing with it while getting rid of it. So then when you're done, you feel relieved.
It's about active self-care. You're going to feel
Yes.
better. if you're putting out effort to make yourself better and make yourself feel better, you're going to feel better.
And here's a little curveball. Felicia, what's your opinion on cold showers?
Okay,
This is
here we
excellent.
go.
Oh man, well I hate them, but they're really good for you. Actually, there's a biohacking doctor. His name's Gary Brecka.
A doctor, Fred.
I think everyone knows who
Did you
Dana
hear
White
what it
is,
was
right?
in? Did you hear what it was in? Biohacking? I don't think that's taught at Harvard.
Yeah, everyone knows how awful he is. Thanks you for bringing
Dana
him up.
White, the guy we never mentioned on the show because he's awful.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I don't
Just
like him
as a
either.
human, just as a human, though.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
like him either, but he was like
With the
on his
doctor.
way out. He was in like really bad health. They were like telling him he was going to die.
Oh,
and then
we-
all of a
oh,
sudden
that-
he's
how
got
great
like a
that would be.
6-pack.
Stem cells. You're talking about stem cells.
Stem
No,
cells and
no.
HGH. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
this doctor he saw, Gary Brecka, has like a protocol where it's like cold plunging, cold showers, like infrared red light therapy, all these like
Blood
certain supplements.
transfusions.
No.
Little mix of baby tears
Yeah,
and dolphin
that's what it
blood.
is.
Yeah. Once a month.
I mean, for the rich and the elite, we can't afford that stuff.
No, but we can launder it through what was this guy a doctor in? What was it called?
Well, he has a doctorate in
Body
biology. No, they call him like a biohacking doctor, but he has a doctorate in
Mm-hmm.
biology, like human biology.
I think Angelina Jolie was a body hacker in a movie in the 90s.
That was a computer.
My bad.
Computer. It's a computer hacker with a rocking body.
Good
That's
segment.
That's different. That's different.
This was a good segment with Felicia because I thought we were just going to be talking about pitching out of the stretch,
Mm.
and this was way better. So, Felicia, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Whenever we get back from the break, hopefully Van's head falls off after a stretching. It's 2 Men On, 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
This report is brought Malloy Los Lunas.
During Ram Power Days at Malloy Ram and Los Lunas, where we talk truck. Get up to $12,000 off a new 2024 Ram 1500. Get your next truck.
Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to 2 Men On, where we almost went the entirety of the show outside of crazy Aaron Rodgers without talking NFL. That's a thing. Brett Favre is apparently dying.
Is he?
That's
I
what
was
I
waiting on
thought
you
too.
guys. I was-
That's
Is
what I
he?
thought too.
Is
I was
this
waiting on you boys.
is he really, or is he just trying to play this to the sympathetic jury and get some sympathy years taken off of his sentence?
I don't think you're wrong.
But of all people,
Him. That tracks perfect.
Doesn't
Well,
surprise me at all.
He is the worst.
well, I was talking about as far as QBs to get this disease is,
Oh, the drug abusing, CTE, having
Yeah.
like welfare abusing. I'll just keep saying the word abusing after everything.
Sure.
Well, when I hear Parkinson's, I think Muhammad Ali, and I think blows. to
Oh,
the
punch
head.
stroke. Yeah, punch stroke.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, he definitely was roughed up enough for this to track as far as does he actually have this or not.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's any quarterback that has the same disease that Muhammad Ali had, it'd be
Yeah.
Brett.
It's easy to claim this. Also, is it just a false flag? Not trying to be that guy, but I don't know if you know, the governor of Mississippi is now accusing the newspaper of defamation. The newspaper, by the way, Anna Wolf, she won a Pulitzer for the Favre scandal story.
Yeah.
And he wants information from her sources for his argument, which is to find out who the whistleblowers were, who the snitches were. In order to do so, she has to give up her confidential sources, which, by the way, you legally don't have to do. So she won't do it. And even if it means criminal charges against her, that's not going to go over. Like,
This is just saving face for him at this point.
mm-hmm.
He knows that he's guilty. He knows that he's getting giant trouble about it. But he can tell all of his cronies and keep raising more money
Mhm.
for his next campaign. He could buy some judges, and hopefully his case lands in one of those judges' chambers.
And you're talking about that, but also if the former governor of Mississippi is suing this gal and she ends up the first one in jail from this whole thing,
So dumb.
what?
So dumb.
What? Miss me?
As a Packers fan, as a guy who Brett Favre was literally one of the reasons why I became a Packers fan, like the community and Lambeau, and it's owned by their fans, blah, blah, blah. I love it so much. Also, Brett Favre and his childhood ways and the John Madden, like the way he described the way he played, like
Mhm.
that was part of his allure. And since then, it's been nothing but embarrassment. Just horrible decision after horrible decision, horrible actions, like straight up stealing from people. Like this is awful what he's doing. So for this guy who's proven his character over and over and over again for the past 2 decades, for me to have some kind of pity, like no, not at all. And what, speaking on that character, he would be the guy to either make this up flat out or inflate it to get sympathy from a court of his peers.
You mean the thing that you can't diagnose until after I'm dead?
Yeah.
I for sure have CTE.
Oh my goodness. How about I start, running into stuff and stutter every once in a while? Like, okay, Brett.
God, dude, he's the worst. Anyone who's like, you know what I think would be best in this situation? Because we got a lot of options out there, guys.
Sure.
You know what I think would be best in this situation? Steal from those who need.
Who need it the most vulnerable. Steal from those people, the poorest people on the planet, people with disabilities who have no other choice but those government benefits. Let's steal that.
Ugh.
The lowest of the low.
And then a bunch of idiots out there. You do it if you had the opportunity. What are you talking about? How's your head here?
Would do what? Steal millions of dollars from the most
Oh.
vulnerable people in one of the poorest states in the country? No, I would not do that.
You know what I know about people who say that stuff? I know they're in the 47th percentile. I know that for a fact.
I think those numbers are inflated as well.
Well, find out November 5th. We'll find out. It's a wild about this stuff. And like the really dark part.
Oh, now we're getting to the dark part?
Right? It's everyone along the way. We know this one Pulitzer Prize winning story. there's so many other stories that never came to fruition.
Right.
That we never heard. That somebody did take the payoff or the hush or the whatever. And I don't know a thing about Anna Wolf. I don't know a thing about her.
Same.
But to go, and also 2024, journalism is dead. No, it's not. This stuff matters.
It is a super important part of our society. Freedom of the press and the free ability to report on garbage people like the governor of Mississippi and Brett Favre. Like, that's an important part of the fabric of our society.
If she goes to jail, which could happen, if she goes to jail, there's going to be a bunch of people in there whose families were hurt by Brett Favre.
Yeah.
It'd be like that. I also want to be the guy that wants to like take the high road and say, I don't wish anything negative on anyone.
Yeah.
I'm not really that guy anymore.
Breaking news next week. Reports are saying Tua Tagovailoa is stealing money from the people of Hawaii or whatever. Like,
that's not a real thing.
No, of course it's not. It's ridiculous. He seems like a genuinely good person. Brett Favre, on the other hand, he's got the old mush brain, and he's an awful criminal. Double whammy, or quintuple whammy, or septuple whammy for all of his indiscretions and weird stuff that he's done in the past couple decades.
I don't know enough about Parkinson's to tell you exactly how it works. I know like your hands go, like your arms go and stuff.
Yeah, neurodegenerative, like a lot of the important daily functions you have slowly go.
Yeah. The noticeable ones though are appendages. Like, and it's your whole body, but your appendages are the big ones. If I was to be a liar, like this guy has historically been,
sure,
would I pick a thing where I could just shake my hand a little bit to make it look the part? I'm not saying I wouldn't.
He worked for years, like trying to make us think that he wasn't a pile of garbage. Like, just lean into it. Make this your main shtick.
And I think you can only get it two ways, like hereditarily, like it has to be in your family, or trauma to the brain.
Trauma, yeah.
Those are the two ways you get it. He said, "Oh, go ahead."
There's a lot of wrangles in his past.
Wranglers, like the jeans, because he endorsed it.
No, I meant like wrangle, like a dispute or argument. Typically, one that is long and complicated. That's like a wrangle.
Not Wranglers, the jeans that he endorsed forever.
Yeah. Or those copper bracelets that were going to cure everything
Tommy
that's
John?
wrong with you.
He said he had, I think he wrote this in his book. He said he thought he had 1,000 concussions in his career.
Not enough.
The copper bracelets. Oh my god.
Yeah. Who was his partner in that?
Oh, the My Pillow founder,
probably.
Weirdo McWeirderson.
I forgot all about those.
And there's like a bigger one at the end too. Like Ryan Leaf's a good example. Ryan Leaf, his head is not right. Ryan Leaf has been through concussions. Ryan Leaf has stolen from children. Ryan Leaf has abused drugs. You know what Ryan Leaf has done? Apologized.
Apologized and made up for it.
I was a bad person. I no longer want to be. Let me go on a campaign to help others. That's my existence. You know what you get, Ryan Leaf? Second chance from me.
Yeah.
You're trying. You know what Brett Favre did? Asked the governor of Mississippi to sue the lady that wrote the Pulitzer Prize winning article on the scandal between he and the state to siphon welfare funds.
And it's not like she had to do a lot of digging. It wasn't the hardest story to break. There were texts and emails that made them 100% complicit in these crimes. And you can't get away from that.
You know it's a mistress, too. Like, let's shoot that real straight. Like, I'm not trying to be that guy, but the confidential informant is 100% a lady who thought she deserved a cut because she's also a bad person.
Yeah.
Didn't get it. Called this Anna Wolf girl and was like, hey, I'm woman scorn. Let's ride.
Or anybody.
Anyone. Yeah.
Anybody who thinks it's cool to steal from the most vulnerable of your population.
The only reason I think lady at all is being able to grab the screenshots and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that part is the part where it's like, if you can set up stealing those things,
Yeah.
because who else has access to your stuff?
Right. Most dudes don't even know how to do it.
What? Cheat on their spouse?
Take a screenshot.
I know how to take a screenshot.
I said most dudes.
Oh. God, I would be the absolute worst at being a whistleblower because I love attention. And everything I would do would be like vindictive, you know? So I would do it like, hey, I whistle blew. It was me. It was me the whole time.
Whistle blow on yourself.
Take that, individual that accidentally surrendered some information to me.
I'm not a snitch. I did it for a good cause.
Yeah. Listen, it was only partially because I hate your guts.
It's not because I was in bigger trouble.
Yeah.
I was helping people.
Yeah. So anyways, you won't be seeing me for a while. Moving, I'm relocating, they said. So funny. That you that's like the final like straw one, right? Like the gotcha. You whistleblowing idiot. I got caught up with the thing. I know we're up against that. I got caught up with a thing years ago at like a regular job, like a shoot job, like a day job, where money would come in and it didn't end up where it was supposed to. And I go, hey, this is bad. And they go, hey, you can go.
Yeah.
I go, oh, God.
You weren't supposed to find this out,
Yeah.
partner.
And if you did find out, you're supposed to be part of it. Aren't you a good old boy?
Yeah. Don't you want to cut? We were waiting for you to approach us.
Mm-hmm. In fact, we've been saving all of this for you the whole time.
The whole stack right here.
You open up your office door. You're like, what are you doing? Don't put that in there. That goes to this cause. Stop it. Also, I work in media. Like, you know what I'm going to do? Call Larry Barker.
Yeah.
Right away.
I know him.
That's a guy I know.
Yeah.
If he doesn't answer me, I'll call Steve Stucker and have him call.
Yeah, he'll
He'll
answer Steve.
When we get back from the break, we can continue from Duke City Cages. It's 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to Two Men On. Van's at Sadie's tomorrow. Him and Ned James, they're going to
that's my quarterback right there.
get ready for Thursday Night Football. That'll be a good one. I am at the historic El Rey Theater tomorrow as Duke City Championship Wrestling returns to its home, dccwtickets.com. It is a big deal one. So come watch Hobo Hank defend his title for the very first time in the El Rey, the home of Duke City Championship Wrestling.
It's good to be back, man. And I'll be there.
Yeah, I agree.
We're going to do Two Men On, and myself, Max Machado, and Jay Choi. We're going to do Fill in the Holes, and then going straight to the El Rey Theater.
Isaiah's coming to the El Rey, but he's going to watch the Cowboys on his cell phone. So that'll be fun.
Nice.
Cool thing. I won. What's that, brother?
I can do that.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Fubo app.
Patrick Mahomes has been kind of booty lately. Barely winning any games. It's been a conversation around the NFL. In his last 8 regular season games, he's thrown 11 tutties, 9 interceptions, and has thrown for 300 yards only one time. Playoffs are obviously a different beast for him and that team and how they prepare. Yeah. Does he seem to be a little figured out to you, man?
I wouldn't say figured out, but it seemed like the last half of the regular season, like he kept getting more and more help from the Zebras. Obviously, the Chiefs are getting a ton of help in the playoffs. Like that's been pretty easily proven by the tape. But I think maybe his sustained excellence over the last 4 years, the NFL is catching up.
I don't think you're wrong. You know, and we were joking about it earlier, but we weren't. The emphasis in the NFL the last, let me give you a real number, 3 years is all defensive end. All of the best players in football are all defensive ends now. There are defensive ends currently. What Hutchinson went for 5 sacks the other day?
Right.
He's not even the best one.
Yeah.
Like, and that is the thing that is, and that's why passing touchdowns are so far down. You're afraid to drop back. You're afraid to do some things. And Patrick Mahomes, and we've seen him with his shirt off. He ain't the athlete to get away from these guys. He might be in a tough way moving forward with, cats like Myles Garrett and Josh Allen, not the quarterback. And I mean, we can keep going. We can run the whole list. Used to be Micah Parsons. Like, that's a thing.
I don't think Patrick Mahomes has fell off in any way. I think he's going to be good for years and years and years to come. But NFL defenses are significantly better, and NFL quarterbacks are significantly better. I know the results of this year, historically low yardage and touchdowns, but the median has been raised. Patrick Mahomes still excellent. Josh Allen still excellent. A handful of guys still excellent. But the median of being a good NFL quarterback has been raised, and people are getting closer and closer to Patrick Mahomes every year.
Yeah.
The average guy gets closer to Patrick Mahomes every year.
Defense now is so much better than it has historically been, especially with the way the rules were curtailed towards the passing game. Also, for some reason, the cover 2 is back, which is weird because I don't feel like there's enough linebackers in the league to really do that. I'm not a guy who's going to try to break all that down for you, but I'm going to tell you this.
Sure.
Like, if you're looking down the field and you don't see guys with a lot of space around you, and then you look to your left and, there's a guy like, I already named Myles Garrett, but like Nick Bosa
Right.
or TJ Watt or Max Crosby coming at you, like you're done for.
And then your outside linebackers, they're not just a bunch of chubby, hunky dudes just taking 3 or 4 steps and getting tackled.
No.
Like, these guys can drop back into coverage. These guys are running sub 4.8 40s. Like the hybrid safety linebacker, Urlacher kind of position. Almost every team has a couple of those guys.
And they're guys you've never heard of. Trey
Right.
Hendrickson. Trey
Yeah.
Hendrickson is a stud.
Yeah.
Who is that?
Here's what happened right in the middle of me, like trying to get into college and trying to play D-end. What happened was you started seeing basically anybody who was a D-end, you had to be able to drop back in pass coverage, or else you're going to end up being a defensive tackle. So that's like the defensive end position has almost been kind of outlawed a little bit, depending on the defense, of course. But most of the time, you're either a D tackle or you're an outside linebacker who they want to drop back in coverage.
What's the name of the? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say real quick to Van's comment about the average guy getting closer to Mahomes. That's true, but there's also a flip side to it that still makes Mahomes special, because you got guys like Zach Wilson, who we saw make that throw in the pro day, and everyone's like, oh, only Pat Mahomes can make that throw, and then he was terrible. And then like Will Levis, he's bad. So there are like people who have it right. People who are on the right track are getting closer to Pat Mahomes' skill level, but
good note, but I'm going to tell you who's really getting closer to him is Khalil Mack, is Max Crosby.
Yeah.
Like, these are the guys. Which Bosa's in LA? Joey? Like, those are the guys getting closer to him. Like, it's harder now.
I know it's not the case when I was young, when I was growing up. Everyone wanted to be a quarterback, running back, or wide receiver. And if you weren't the best quarterback, if you weren't one of the best 2 running backs, if you weren't one of the best 3 wide receivers, you played defense. And then so like historically, like all of like the 3rd, 4th, 5th best guys for that, if you're a wide receiver shaped guy, you weren't the 3rd best wide receiver, welcome to cornerback, my friend. If you weren't the best 2 running backs and you were linebacker shaped, like welcome to the defense, my friend.
If you're a little slow, go to safety.
Yeah, there you go.
Hash marks to the sideline.
That's not the way it is anymore. Like, elite freak athletes are on the defensive side of the ball. Defense isn't getting the offense's leftovers anymore. Like, people want to proactively be on that side of the ball, because look how many freak athletes there are on a field. I definitely, if I'm growing up and my parents actually let me play football and they're not scared I'm going to get CTE in
correct
30, 40
you said
years,
scared, you meant
I
correct.
want to be the one doing the hitting, not getting hit. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets to a point where scoring touchdowns is no longer worth the hits. You'd rather hit somebody plus possibly score a touchdown.
Sure.
Go get an interception or something. Go get go make a big hit, get the ball dropped.
I don't exactly know if what I'm about to say is true, but I'm going to say a thing real quick. I also feel like defensive guys are smarter than offensive guys now. Like, I see some of these interviews with skill position guys, and I go, that's a dumb dude.
Sure.
Like, I watch some interviews with dudes, and I go, good thing they run fast.
Yeah.
That's not a smart human being.
It really depends on the level. Like, when you get to the NFL, you can make that case, because on defense, you not only, like, you can make the argument on offense. You have to know the playbook and know schemes. But on offense, you know what your goal is, whereas on defense, you have to be thinking of multiple different possibilities, and then you have to be reactive, especially at corner.
Well, I feel
they
like
have to be the smartest.
aren't offenses like that now too? Like, the obvious one's RPO, run pass option stuff, but like, it's the hey, if you come off the line in the slot and this linebacker comes towards the quarterback, that means you're running an in. And if they first step is back, that means you're hitting an out. And if they try to man up on you with physical, but you're going to go right by them. Like, everyone's got to be smart, I think.
To a point.
That's a fact. What you said is a fact. But on offense, especially at QB, like, the more you can handle, like, obviously you can't know too much, but that's what starts to separate the good from great ones. Whereas defense, I mean, at linebacker it helps, but usually a coach is not going to put you on the field unless he feels like you know everything the other team could possibly do.
We're going to break because we're just a bunch of dummy quarterbacks. It's 2 Men On 95.9 FM and AM 610. Hey, Sports Hammer. Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to Two Men On. We're at Duke City Cages. Been a banger of a day out here at the Cages. Big thank you to all the guests who joined us, including Damian Griego, our new friend Felicia. She's from the Cages. I thought I wrote down her business name. Now I feel like an idiot. Recapture Mobility. Had it right here. My bad.
As the Cages. That's a good cover up.
Yeah, I thought I had it. Recapture Mobility.
But
There you
also the Cages.
go. Yeah, but here at Duke City
Yeah,
Cages.
it's a true statement.
That's correct. Duke City Championship Wrestling is tomorrow night at the historic El Rey Theater. I think I've talked to you guys about this. We have been monthly since May of 2023. We've done 1 million TV shows. We had so many fun milestones over September, and I'm a little sad to see September go, man. It is, August 31st, which is not quite September, but August 31st, the Rio Rancho Event Center, our largest
Yeah.
crowd ever.
Big one.
Valley Fence built us a huge cage. It was beautiful and special. Then we went to the State Fair for 11 days and literally set an attendance record. Am I going to say that was all us? Yes. That's how my brain works. And then, obviously up at the Museum of International Folk Art last weekend, we drew 1,600 plus, and it was just wild up there for a cool luchador exhibit because we had never really done that style of
Right.
entertainment. And now, tomorrow night at the historic El Rey Theater, we continue with our television taping. So, just a wild, emotional pro wrestling month for me. Also, financially, took it out of me.
Oh, bummer.
It has been that month.
That's a rough one.
So, if you want to support Duke City Championship Wrestling, come out and see us tomorrow night at the historic El Rey Theater, DCCWtickets.com. I know the Lobos got a big fundraiser going on tomorrow night. I know there's some other stuff in town, but I'm going to tell you this, and we'll return your call. We'll answer on the first ring. You come out and be a part of us. We got you. We promise. And Duke City Championship Wrestling wants to have you. So there you go. Tomorrow night, historic El Rey Theater. Come hang out with you boys.
Come support New Mexico's hero, newly crowned champion,
Hobo Hank.
Hobo Hank.
That's my guy.
He's my dude.
And Fred, I relate with you on the finances. We both spent so much this month. It's crazy.
Well, it's not just us.
Yeah, you bought a space bed.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's so funny. That's kind of what the world September is the State Fair. 516,000 people. The State Fair costs, concerts cost, Balloon Fiesta is right around the corner.
Yeah.
Back to school, we are currently in the middle of it. And then I'm not a guy who necessarily has to count paychecks, but there's only 6 paychecks before Christmas or
Right.
something. It starts to get a little tight. It's that time of year. And also I don't really have to sell Duke City Championship Wrestling this way, but I'll do it. Go to athletic event in town. Go to any of them. Baseball, hockey, football, fill in your soccer, fill in your thing. Go to a concert at Isleta. Go to a concert at the Rio Rancho Event Center. Go to a concert at any other venue. Pull up your receipt after that. Look at your number on the receipt. That's a huge number you just spent on that night. You know what it costs to get into Duke City Championship Wrestling? $20. That is it. It is $20.
Right. And if you're a friend of the show, Van's probably going to buy you a drink.
Yeah.
So there's that
and
too.
you get Teller vodka?
Yeah.
It is wild to me that we are basically giving this thing away. And the idea is to keep it friendly and affordable for family and kids.
Which it is.
A guy walked up to me and was telling me how happy he was that Duke City Championship Wrestling was at the fair and how it changed the kid's whole week because he got to stand in front of the ring. And he just says he's super proud of how kid-friendly the whole company is. So I want to pass that along.
Isaiah, those are good final words, Van.
Too much for the time allotted, my friend. Anything we didn't cover, make sure you check out tomorrow morning on the opening drive with Jeff and JJ.
Good job, everyone. Keep breathing.
See you at Sadie's tomorrow, Burke.